Left side is Kenneth Waiswa, the captain of the Sipi, and Riazat Alisha, the captain of Itanda. The home side is going to flip the coin for the toss. Heads is the call, and head it is. Riazat, you won the toss. What are you going to do?
We like to bat first. Wicket looks nice in the afternoon. Yeah.
Tough luck in the first game there, scoring 133 runs. What is the good total you look to put on the board and feel comfortable to chase or set?
Anything above 150. If we are looking for anything about 150, it will be a good score in this wicket. Yeah.
Okay, any changes in your side?
We have 3 changes. We have, let me see. Yeah, we have, no, I'll tell you after reading.
Okay, well done. All the best. Waiswa, you lost the toss. Would you thought otherwise?
No, we're looking to also bowl fast, so it's a win-win for us.
2 back-to-back losses coming into this game against a team like Itanda, who lost their first game in the morning. What is the approach coming into this game? It is a must-win for you guys if you are yet to stay alive in this tournament.
Yeah, we know that we have to win today to stay in the game, but we need to do our best, right? Field well, bowl well, and then bat well to have a chance of winning this game.
You haven't been up there with your skills with the bat. Is there any reason behind that performance?
Not really, but I'm looking forward to putting my hand up today with the bat for the team.
Any changes in your side?
Yet to find a win. They have nothing in that W column. They are looking for an opportunity to make sure that they stay in the competition. Bujagali Rafters now riding the tide very well. They might have just done enough to get themselves in the Sunday afternoon final. But for now, it's business time. Oh, good bumper ball there from David Wabwire. He saw a bit, was in bat looking a bit scared. Had a scare in the first game, got off injured, but came back later to bat. Did get enough though, but this time he's out there in the middle to do the work with Ronald Lutaya. Sipi Trekkers, they could be party spoilers, or they are going to make sure that they make everyone wait before they know their fate about being in the final tomorrow afternoon. In the morning, the Bujagali Rafters doing just enough, winning by 1 wicket against the Itanda Kayakers, who are playing their doubleheader today. Itanda choosing to bat in the afternoon after winning the toss. I think now after the sun baking that wicket, there is no point in bowling fast. If you put on a very good total, you'll be in with a chance for the game. My name is Dennis Musali doing the commentary on this game, and I'm joined by the captain of the Botswana men's team, Mr. Karabo Motlanka, in the commentary box. Karabo, of course, featuring for the Bujagali Rafters. And this afternoon is taking a chill after enjoying that 1 wicket win. Karabo, that morning game a bit nervy in the end, but you just did enough to get over the line. How were the nerves in that last over in the dugout?
Thanks for having me on this lovely afternoon, Dennis. Lovely weather we've had in Uganda so far. Yeah, nervy game, but something I shared with the team at the end of the game. I said throughout a tournament, sometimes it's good to experience that early on instead of maybe getting into the later stages and then experiencing it for the first time. So I think it's still a positive thing, even though it was so close, but at least we ended up on the right side.
Yeah, very good. I mean, very well done in the end. Just initially when Roger was in there, you felt that you were really totally in control of the game. But after losing his wicket, things fell along the way. Is it something that you guys need to work on, that back end of the finishing? Because Juma Miyagi seems like the only other reliable guy who can get you over the line. But there need to be contributions from just about everyone in that tail to make sure that you can knock off those 20 or 10 runs that always required.
Yeah, I think very correct. There needs to be a contribution all along the way, especially in chases. Sometimes in chases, because of the pressure, you lose more wickets, and then you find yourself in a situation where the back end of the batting lineup is the one trying to score the winning runs. But like I said, I don't believe it's necessarily a bad thing. Different conditions, but I think seeing the team and how it's playing, I think it's a very adaptable team.
Brian keeps mentioning that the Bujagali Rafters were the underdogs. That will be the end of the first over. Very good over there from David Wawire Musau, giving away just 4 runs. Not the usual explosive start that Wazim Bat and Ronald Utaya have had us accustomed to. So this time a bit very, very cautious, but David Wawire hitting that back of a length line very well with some good carry. And that will be the end of the first over. Jonathan Sebanja will take the ball from the Ginger Road end. Brian Masawa keeps mentioning that the Bujagari Rafters, of course, in the women's version, the Bujagari Rafters were the team to beat. And they finished the bottom of that log despite picking up 2 wins on their final day of the doubleheader. Brian keeps mentioning you're the underdogs, but you've somehow managed to pick up 2 results that have been very good and put you in a very good position of being in the final. Looking at all the other 2 teams, do you feel that where is the balance of the power? Is it that you're a better organized team, or you've just you've made lemonade out of lemons?
Yeah, I believe to start with yesterday, I think we had a positive start. Our coach has encouraged us to be as positive as you can be, especially with the bat, energetic as you can be with the ball as well in the field. So I think the instructions have been simple, they've been concise, and it's proving to be good. We have good morale in the team. I think there's good players. I think the batting is actually quite deep, which goes a long way in this version of the game. So I think Brian is right, and we look forward to just playing one game at a time, as he said.
Oriki Detu is saying a very safe hands. That man who's standing at point for the Sipi Trekkers. The Sipi Trekkers this afternoon, leaving out Jonathan Nyiro, the young man. Simon Cesars is also missing for them because he has an exam to write. And Blessing Pondani as well has to take the bench. I think they are desperate for a win, so they've decided to go with an unchanged, making a couple of changes in that lineup. Jonathan Sebanja crossing over from the Itanda Kayakers to join their team. Going to be a long afternoon for them, but I hope they give us a very good contest. Not a very bad lineup. I think they just haven't come up with the goods. Karabu, you are still telling us, looking at, and of course, the first time for you to work with Jackson Ogwang, who's the assistant coach of the Cricket Cranes. What have you made of him, and how impressed have you been?
To be honest, I've liked his positivity. He doesn't say too much. He just seems to say just enough, you know. He seems to say just enough, and
pulled away beautifully there by Ronald Utaya in front of mid-wicket. Short half tracker there from Jonathan Sebanja. Hit me ball. And Ronald Utaya just does that. The boundaries haven't been coming very, very cleanly for the Kayakers. But Utaya getting off the not getting off the mark, but scoring the first boundary of the match. You were just sorry for cutting you short there, Karabo. You're telling us about Jackson.
Yes, I was saying he seems to just have he has a calm demeanor about him. I think as a player sometimes you need that calming influence. He doesn't seem to really panic under pressure or in certain situations, and it translates to the team very easily. Like I said, the instructions as well are quite precise. They're quite simple and easy to follow, and it encourages good cricket. So so far so good. I've definitely enjoyed working with him.
Wow. Good experience so far all around. What do you make of the Elite League? When you go out there in the middle and bat with people you're not used to, how do you communicate? How do you talk about strategy out there in the middle? What the plan is? How do you attack different kinds of bowlers? Has it been the challenge that you sought when you left Hawarone?
Yes, of course. The quality of cricket has obviously been very good. Step up from what I'm used to back home. Seeing the other teams, I believe the teams are actually quite fairly matched. We've just, I think, had an advantage here and there. Like you said in the morning, it was just a wicket victory with 1 ball to spare. So it could have gone either way. We could be sitting here with 1 and 2. The team we played yesterday as a Sipi. They played a double header yesterday, and we are the ones who came in fresh in the afternoon. So those small margins, sometimes they count for a lot in this game.
Yeah. Very true. End of the second over. Tidy one for the Itanda Kayakers. They moved to 10 runs for no loss.
Yeah, like I was saying, like yesterday we came in and we faced them after they were maybe quite down on confidence after the morning, and we probably just managed to take advantage of that. And then coming into today, obviously, it was a tougher. We knew it was going to be a tough one. I think a few things just ran our way, especially when we were fielding, and yeah, just glad to get on the other side of the line.
Doesn't come out of the middle of the bat, but has enough or need to run along the ground for a 4. Again, a short ball there from David Wabwire, but David Wabwire doesn't seem to have the pace anymore to trouble Wazimbat, who stands tall, hits that ball over the man at mid-on. I don't know, I think that's a young Fahad Mutagana, if my eyes are still correct. Looking very untidy there. It doesn't have his shirt tucked in. Karabo, do you like to tuck in your shirt?
Yeah,
or
always. Yeah.
Why so?
Because of things that are drilled into you at a young age, you know. Yeah. You're told that if you can't play cricket, at least look like one. At the very least, look like one.
So tucking in your shirt is one of those things that really make you look the part. You may not look as good as you may not play as good as you look,
exactly.
but at least you look the part.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. But I think this is something that you need to tell some of these young players.
Yes, it's very important because they say sometimes appearances can be deceiving. I can walk into the middle, make myself look like a batsman, tap the crease and do all sorts of things and mark my guard and have the opposition already on the back foot. So sometimes you can just use that little bit to advantage, at least look like a cricketer.
Clearly, if Karabo becomes the coach, none of his players will take the field without tucking in their shirt.
Not at all.
I captain my local cricket club, and I think for me that's the number one rule. You don't walk on with your shirt untucked. Different approach there from the Kayakers. Yesterday they come out of the blocks very quickly, very, very quiet from Ronald Lutai and Wazimbat. What do you think would be the plan for them?
To be honest, looking at the way Sipi are trying to manage the situation, they're hitting the deck a bit more. I think maybe yesterday they just got away from them a little bit. They maybe missed their lengths, maybe a little bit too full, which allowed Wazimbat to actually get a few away. So they look like they've replanned and come back with a new strategy. They've also changed their opening pair. So they clearly spoke about things and tried to correct things where they went wrong yesterday.
Is it easy to get some pace out of this wicket? I see David trying to hit the deck very hard, but nothing is coming off. The balls are just sitting up for the batters.
To be honest, I think it doesn't really come off unless sometimes in the morning you just get that little bit of shoot in the surface. But otherwise, there's not a lot of pace at all, which makes the length that bowlers bowl very important. I think, like I said, Sipi yesterday probably a bit full in the power play, allowing the Kayakers to get away from them. So that's the one thing I try to share with the bowlers in the team, especially the young man who bowled yesterday. I've forgotten his name, but he bowled towards the latter end of the innings. I try to share with him that, hit the surface. Sometimes it's a little bit up and down as well. It feels sometimes a little bit too paced. So as a batsman, sometimes it's difficult when that length is hit to know exactly how it's going to come off. Yeah, just seeing there, look at the lengths now that Sipi are hitting. They've clearly trying to make the batsman hit square. Something that's a conversation I've had with the bowlers in our team as well is it doesn't seem to be too easy to go across it, which is why actually this morning I was quite impressed with Juma, the way he was taking those length balls and being able to hit them through mid wicket. I think that has been quite difficult skill to do on this pitch.
You've batted on this surface, especially at the top of the order. How easy is it for a batter to come out and just go gung-ho? We saw Roger today as well. Not the usual Roger that we know. He was a bit, made sure he makes the right selection of the shots. He's more cautious. Eventually got out another 14 manner, but you felt that that 49 was really the key in trying to push Abu Jagali Rafters towards the score. I think when he went out, you needed about 29 or 30 runs more, but he had done really the bulk of the heavy lifting.
Yes, I don't think the structure of an innings really changes a lot according to the format. It's just that it happens a little bit quicker in T20s. I think you always need that mainstay. We had it yesterday with Cosmas, and then contributions from other people in the lineup. With Roger today, yes, it was a lower score, so maybe we didn't get as many contributions from the other guys. But just having a mainstay, somebody who'll stay there 10 plus overs to really do the heavy lifting, I think it always bodes well for the team that is batting. Yeah, and to answer your question about betting as soon as you come in, yes, it's a funny one because it seems like you can't just hit through it as soon as you come in. So you find yourself searching a little bit. That's why these two, they were very explosive yesterday. Yes, the bowlers have adjusted their lines, but you can see even from some of the boundaries they've hit so far, they haven't been the most cleanest hits. So it is a surface that challenges you to fight and find that timing, as Roger did this morning.
How different is it from back home? Botswana is really a desert, I would say. But how different is it from this surface and what you have back home? And you only came in a day before the tournament, so there's not a lot of time for you to adjust and try and get used to the surface. So you get in there and then you have to go immediately. Yes,
that's the nature of cricket nowadays. You don't really get a chance to settle in much before you play. In Botswana, our pitches are obviously very dry most of the time. I think they take a bit more turn, but it's still not easy.
Runs there from Ronald Lutaya. Jonathan Sebanja straying, missing his lines. It's picked up beautifully by Ronald Lutaya for a boundary. Sebanja crossing over from the Itanda Kayakers to try and beef up this Sipi Trekkers team. I think a couple of selectors feeling that they were missing something, especially from an experienced all-rounder who can come in, bowl a couple of overs, but also make a contribution with the bat. The team was very more or less evenly balanced between bowlers and then just the batters, so they were missing a couple of runs in that mid order. So Sebanja, an experienced professional, has played for the Cricket Cranes before. He's been out of favor in the team, but he's a man who's very experienced. He's been there, done that. Ronald Lutaya, just starting his international career, made his debut for the Cricket Cranes in Rwanda in the Tri-Nation tournament. A scamper through for a single. I don't know why David Wawire picked up the ball well, and then instead of trying to take a shot at the stumps, decided to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, it seemed like he just hesitated a little bit there. He probably would have liked to have a shy there at Butt's end. But I've been impressed with Lutaya, actually. I like the way he sets up. I like the way he seems to approach the game. Very open, very, very positive, very free in the way he seems to play. I'm not surprised that you said he's recently made his debut.
I think it's a bit... Ooh. The throw is good, just off the mark there from Fahad Mutagana. Nearly had Ronald Lutaya gotten run out. Ronald Lutaya is still a very young man, was very rough around the edges, especially when he just started out. He used to look at going after everything, but now he seems to have... I think he's learning more about his game. He's learning a lot more about his game, and he seems to understand that I need to pick my moments. I can't be thinking about hitting all the time, so I need to understand when to pick my moments. As a young man, you're left-handed like him. As a young man, was just starting out, especially in the international game, was your game just like his? And then over time, how did you get to that realization that this is how I want to play, and this is one? Especially for you, for your Botswana team, you're really the man, the go-to man for the team. You have to lead from the front. A lot of responsibility for you.
Yeah, I had a very, very unique journey, because before I became captain when I was around 22, 23, I think I was vice captain from when I was 20. So because I was captain in the under-19s, at the time I didn't actually make much of it. You know, as a vice captain, you don't actually get to do too much. So I had a couple of years in that position, and then coming into like developing my game, I think then what it built into me was then responsibility. So having this title as a vice captain or a captain, you can't be a passenger in the team. So that was what helped accelerate, and T20 came in when I was already sort of coming out of my teenage. So it was quite a tough adjustment for me personally, because if anybody was to ask, the longer version is my favorite.
David Wabwire still persisting with that short ball. Wazim Bat hitting the rubbish. One bounce for David Wabwire. In my opinion, used to be very, very quick back in the day. Maybe that short ball 5 or 4 years ago would have troubled any other batter. But now it doesn't have the pace, so you need to realize that he has been bowling a very hard length. I don't know why he's trying to bounce. He's trying to bowl these half trackers. He's overthinking it, in my opinion. Tries to go again, chance for a catch. This time there's someone. Frank Nsubuga takes it on the second opportunity. Nearly made a mess of that, but he takes a very good catch. The trap was set for Wazim Bat, and he fell for it. The Itanda Kayakers lose their first wicket. 26 for 1.
Yes, Dennis, just as you were saying, is this really the way to go? It bears fruit for the Itanda for the Sipi, and it gets them a wicket, even though it did cost them some runs.
Yeah, Wazim Bat not getting, couldn't resist getting out of that shot. Tried to control it, but Frank Nsubuga was under that ball. Takes it on the second opportunity there and nearly made a mess of it. He's lucky that he was aware of his bearings. Would have just gone over the rope with that ball.
I think looking at the length of that one in comparison with the one that went for 4, this one was more of a slightly fuller length, so it didn't make that pull shot so easy. I think what tends to happen here with the pull shots that we've seen today is that it's a very short ball that sticks in the wicket that becomes easier to hit. But if you get that sort of in-between length that still is rising up at the batsman, it becomes a lot tougher.
Wasn't bad. They are guilty of being a little bit greedy, in my opinion. I just hit a boundary, so maybe you could have just played a more controlled pull shot to just pick up a single, but he tried to go for maximum. Donex Kasongo from Malawi, the new batter for the Itanda Kayakers. Not your first time here in Uganda, you love it?
Uganda is my favorite place outside of Botswana, to be honest, in the whole world. You didn't need to ask me twice to come here.
Those are words of a man who's traveled the world. He's been all over the world to not just to play cricket, but even to do business. By the time Uganda is his favorite destination, there is something about the Pearl of Africa, right?
Yes, definitely. I don't know if it's in the air. The weather is perfect all the time. Except the time you came in 2019 where it rained all the time. That was the first time I had experienced that. But yes, I love it. I love the people, how the people are here. There's a lot of beauty in Uganda. And yeah, I'll keep coming back for as long as I can.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Much better there from David Wabwire. Donex getting off the mark, running the ball down to third man, picks up a single. 2 left-handers now on the crease. They said the left-handed batsmen difficult to bowl to. I've never understood why.
I don't know why. I'm not a bowler. I've tried recently, but in my heart, I'm not a bowler.
You used to bowl some lefties, off spinners.
Yeah. Off spin.
Was it difficult for you to bowl to lefties, or you prefer?
That's what I enjoyed actually.
Yeah, exactly. I feel when you take the ball away from them, it's easier for you than when the ball is coming into them.
Personally, as a left-hander, I think the most difficult delivery to play. It's a shot.
Stopping that there. Kevin Irakoze won't find that apart from going to pick up that ball. Straying on the pads there, David Wabwire might have picked up a wicket in that over, but quite a bit touch expensive from him. The runs keep coming for the Itanda Kayakers now. Deft touch from Ronald Lutaya, whips it off his pads.
Yeah, I was just saying, as a left-hander, I think what I've always found the most challenging is when the right-armer is coming over or around the wicket. I think it doesn't really matter, but they have this ability to take it away from you. You know, in the similar manner to how Stuart Broad challenges Dave Warner. You'll see it all the time when they battle in the Ashes. I think that's sometimes it's a very difficult ball to line up, especially if it's landing on your stumps and then finishing off outside off. You end up squaring up. You're not sure how to line up yourself. So as a left-hander, that's always been the most difficult. When it's coming back into you, I think it's a lot more comfortable to play. Well, personally, I found it a lot more comfortable to play.
Yeah, very true. How come? I've always wanted to ask you, Karabo, you gave up wicket keeping. I loved wicket keeping. The only thing I really enjoyed in cricket.
I loved wicket keeping. To be honest, I was crazy about wicket keeping. In 2015, in a match against Uganda, actually, funny enough, we were in Benoni. I went for one of those sharp singles that I like to take, and one of my hamstrings went. And then later on, we played the next game, and then the other one went. And since then, it's never been quite right. I continued keeping until 2020. It was COVID year, but I was still trying my luck at keeping. I used to love it, actually. I had a big passion for keeping. But I think the hammies and the knees and everything over time just got worn out. Something I'd been doing since I was a junior. Plus also the emergence of Valentine and Bazo, who obviously couldn't make the trip here. Unfortunately, but yeah, the emergence of him as well to pass it on, I think, also gave me encouragement to put it down.
Yeah, probably next time or in the next edition of the Waterfalls T20 League, we'll have a lot more guys coming in. You have some very, very decent talent in your team. Quick single, take it. Oh, good pick up and throw there by Jonathan Sebanja. Somehow I feel like Sipi Trekkers, because of the 2 losses yesterday, they're not taking enough risks, especially in terms of trying to hit, to throw at the stumps and to make runouts. Is that the fear of, getting things wrong?
Yes, that's, as a cricketer, that creeps into your mind. It's just like with betting, if you have a couple of low scores, all of a sudden you get a ball to hit in your next game, and then you don't punish it, just because that element of doubt starts to creep in, and you can see it's a what's the English word for it? It moves through the team. It can easily move from one player to another. That element of doubt. So maybe it's a little bit of it happening, or they're just trying to make sure they're not giving anything extra.
Exactly. So they're just trying to make sure they do 100%. I mean, if that 100% doesn't get them over the line, then they feel that they've just sort of made a best top shot there from Ronald Lutaya straight into the screen. 2-4 there from Franklin Subuga. Ronald Lutaya hitting that straight into the screen.
I like the way he played that shot, so controlled.
Nara, very good shot there from...
Lovely shot again there from Ronald Lutaya. Rocking back on the back foot as Franco makes his adjustment in the length. He seemed to be ready for that. Rocking back, giving himself a little bit of time and placing it perfectly. Beautiful batting.
Yeah, very good shot there from the young man, showing his talent and array of skill. This time playing that all along the ground. That disturbs the bowler because you need to keep making adjustments, not just in your length, but in the field. That's the way you bat as T20. It's not work everything, but it's intelligent field. It's intelligent batting, so you easily pick up. That's a 10-run over without a lot of risk.
Yes, just playing good classic cricket shots. It doesn't have to be bang bang all the time. It doesn't have to be going up all the time. But looking at this, just those 2 shots, it can tell you the thinking sometimes you can put behind batting. It's very easy to say go and hit the ball. But I think how he did it there, he got a bit of a full ball, placed it perfectly over the bowler's head, and then the next one, slightly short, managed to put it through the gap on the offside. I think that's wonderful batting.
Yeah, those are the 2 boundaries there. Ronald Lutaya hit of Franklin Subuga. The first one straight over his head, and then the next one just splits the 2 men in covers for a boundary.
And I would say that wasn't a terribly bad ball from Frank. I think, like I said, because the last one was full, he probably thought maybe this one might come back in the length a little bit, and he just rocked back just enough to be able to give himself time to get the bat through.
Yeah, that's not your colleague there, Valentine Baz, or the man should have been wearing that shirt. But it's Yoshi who's going to take the ball, replaces David Wawire from the KFC Road end. But you're very right. I think one of the things I've really appreciated about this generation, Karabo, is that I think they're better players of spin than we were. We're really the guys who liked the ball coming to bat. But you could see from those two shots that Ronald Lutaya played, they're not agricultural in any way. They're proper cricket shots. He understands how to use his crease. And then maybe when he needs to come to the front foot, he's still hitting the ball straight into the screen.
Yes, and playing on this pitch, I think one thing that I've realized, I still want to try and apply, is still hitting with a straight bat through the ball. I think it's very important, not trying to overhit it, reading that pace off the pitch, very important. He's probably more used to playing here than I am, but it seems like it's already built itself into his game.
Some things have you seen from some of your teammates you batted with that today you nearly got in an entanglement with Roger? Who made the call? I think Roger trusted his feet, and then you had to send him back.
That situation, actually, you know what? I think it could have been a run, but like we say, when you come into a new team, sometimes you're not sure if everyone runs like that. You know, I'll be ready to run like that, but he caught me a bit by surprise. And after that, I said to him, "Okay, is that what you are about? Because I can also do that." Just that he caught me off guard, and then we had a word about it after the game, and I said, "Look, when I come in, yes, I'm looking for that, but sometimes you don't want to shock your teammates into certain runs."
Is this a communication you want to make before you come into bat, or when you walk on and you find him, you're like, you know what, this is how I want to score runs, maybe we'll start running aggressively and then we'll take a chill pill if we've gotten 10 runs after 2 balls?
Sometimes some things you just find out as you go in the game. You can't cover everything. So that's one of those situations that dawned itself on us at the time, even though I have actually batted with Roger once in Singapore. But at the time, he was smashing the ball so much, I didn't even look to run at any point.
There wasn't enough running.
No. He was hitting it so hard, there was no point even trying to run.
Are you saying there's a difference between the Roger of now? Where do you see the changes in his game? Of course, he's lost some time.
Yeah.
Singapore was 2019. There's been a lot of time between now and then. Do you see some differences in his game?
To be honest, I don't think so. I think he still has that positive intent. I think he tried to sort of start like he did yesterday, but it didn't. He wasn't quite getting the timing, and he went sort of back into basics and went into rotation mode for a little bit, and then later on it came back to him once I think he got used to the conditions all over again. But the Roger we saw in Singapore was in incredible form. He was smashing it everywhere. He's hit one of the biggest assists I've seen in my career. He hit one of the Singapore quick bowlers, and he hit them so far over his head that ball, there was no ways anybody was ever going to try and even look for it. I still remember that shot to this day. Palestine Road he hit it onto.
Yeah. There was a need of a search party in that in that particular contest.
Yeah, I think he hit it into a complex here.
Miscommunication in the middle. Donex, Kasongo and Ronald Lutaya get themselves in trouble, and in the end there was an opportunity for them to go back. There's a discussion in the middle between the two of them who has to go. And in this case, I think Ronald Lutaya has to go because he actually moved out of his crease. If he had not, at that particular moment, he was out of his crease when the run out was effected the other end. That's why he had to go. the bat through there was a chance for them to make his ground, but Rutaya wasn't interested in the run at all. Ball watching instead of looking at his partner. And then in the end, he has to go. You can see Frank Nsuga there, player coach, talking to his team and letting them know that let's keep the pressure on. The opportunities will come for us. The captain for the Itanda Kayakers, Riazat Ali Shah, comes into bat. I think you've just spoken about that, Karabo. You know, when you're playing with guys you're not used to, you're not sure whether should I run as much as I do in my usual style of play, or do we need to take some time? So the communication probably between the two missing.
Yeah, I think looking at that scenario, they had just been running very aggressively before that. So in terms of in Donex's case, he's probably thinking that is to continue. In Ronald's case, he looked at it in a different angle and probably thought it wasn't a run. And when you're not used to each other or how you communicate with each other, sometimes there's people who sometimes I bet with, and Reggie Nahonda is actually one of them.
Yeah.
We actually give each other eyes sometimes, and it's go. You know, there's a certain look in someone's eye. Where it's like, hey, are you about it? And then when you go, you go. So not that I'd coach that myself, but those are things that those are things that can develop. You know, as you play more with people.
The longer you're used to batting with someone.
Yes.
Now I struggle a lot in my club games when I get out to play. I think we have a lot of young players, and an obvious tool for them now for me is I need to think about the second
It's
run.
a tricky one.
It's a tricky tool for me. So it's a very, very big contrast, especially when you're playing a lot of the young players. They're more agile. They are more willing to go for risks. And then for you, you're thinking about Monday and your hamstring and how long it will take to heal. So the decision-making process is very long.
Yes. Yeah, I don't quite have the burst that I used to as a kid. Sometimes you're right. One of the people who does that to me is Pimelo Silas. He's a short little guy, but he gets moving between the wickets. So sometimes he'll be turning around and he'll be facing my back while I'm still going.
I think the difference for me, what Donex does is that he goes at the ball very hard, so it travels quickly to the fielders. Yet he wants to take the single. The guys are hanging on the ring, so maybe you could use softer hands. So he pushes at the ball, and then it goes so quickly to the fielders. There was a misfield there because Oriki Day picked up the wrong thing instead of the ball. But because he pushes hard at the ball, so it goes so quickly to the fielders, and that even on this, not the most world-class outfield, if someone picks it up cleanly, then you'll be in trouble.
Yes. That's actually an element I noticed yesterday. There was, I think, a run that we didn't take when I was betting with our keeper. I'm not too sure of his name.
Steven Wabose.
Yes. Yes. There was a single, but it was more to do with how quickly I thought the ball was going to run across the grass. You know, playing on different places.
Oh, your keeper is Cyrus Kakuru, not Steven Wabose.
Yes.
Yeah. The short guy.
Yeah. So a small thing such as how quickly the ball runs across the grass on different fields. We were in Bononi, where in Nwelemo Park, where the ball shot across the surface.
Yeah. And
then here sometimes it just holds up a little bit in that 30 if it hits some long grass.
Yeah.
So those are, sometimes things that can affect running between the wickets. Going back to Donex, I think a skill that he might want to pick up is those soft hands. I remember someone telling me actually when we were in Singapore, I was middling everything. And then somebody came and tapped me on the shoulder. I think after a game, he said, just soften it down a little bit. You get a lot more runs. And to be honest, that's where things changed a little bit for me that time.
Yeah, I think so too. Because in T20s, usually guys don't want to be in attacking position, especially if they see you hitting the ball very hard. So the chance for you of undone there, Riazat Ali Shah. Yosh cleaning him up. The ball skidding and going through him. Riazat Ali Shah, a darling of the Ugandan Cricket Cranes fans, yet to get going in the T20 tournament. First time he's been given the responsibility to lead. Batting at his favorite position, number 4. But this time he has to go.
Yeah, just looking at this delivery here. Bounces on a length and skids through, hitting the off stump. Something that we found yesterday, the difference between the morning and the afternoon. In the afternoon, actually, it starts. You tend to get those lower bounces a bit more than you do in the morning, and proves the undoing of Riyazat there. I don't think that ball even got halfway up the stump looking at it.
Yeah, very true. I think he's guilty there of going back on a full delivery. He just come forward.
Yeah, and he does get on his front foot very well and hit down the ground. So
Yeah.
that's probably an option that he will look back at and say, maybe I could have done that better.
And the first time Riyazat, really, we've seen him in a position of authority as a captain. Is there pressure on you? You've been doing that job for Botswana for a very long time. Do you feel that for you to assert yourself on the team, you need to be scoring runs? You can't tell someone to do something that you failed to do.
Yes, I think it's always a case of do as I do, not do as I say. I think it makes things a lot easier if you yourself are contributing. We've seen it in the past, all around international cricket. When captains are not scoring runs, a lot of the time that means the team generally is not quite at their best. And being a leader, you definitely want to make those major contributions to the team so that you inspire the rest of your team to say that they can do it.
Yeah, they always say the job for the Australian captain is very simple. It's not about field sets and all. Just score runs. As long as you have runs, you keep the job. No one is going to you're never going to keep the job if you're only good at setting fields and making bowling changes.
Yes, as we see that Tim Payne didn't last as long as we've seen a lot of Australian captains. That's a big thing for them. I think that's because the captain has to be the person at the forefront. The Australians do it that way, They put the person who's really piling on the runs immediately becomes the captain. They've gone obviously a different way with Pat Cummins right now, but that's been the tradition of theirs. And I think what it does is show the rest of the team that, and it builds confidence as well.
Swings very hard. Fortune favors the brave. Sami Sohail had no chance at all. That's because Donek still goes at the ball with very hard hands. Gets a thick outside edge. More runs for the Itanda Kayakers. Not coming the conventional way, but they will take them whichever way they come.
Yes, I remember the coach this morning as things were tight and we were looking always slightly behind the rate or around the rate. You were saying, hey, we could really use a filthy boundary right now. And that was one of them.
Doesn't have to look good as long as it's a boundary.
Yes. The bowler can ooh and ah all they like and hold their head, but 4 runs on the board. Well played.
Well played there by Donex. Pick up a single. For someone like Donex Kasongo, this experience, I know you've had a chat around the hotel. What has this experience been for them?
For Donex in particular, the time I'd gone to Zimbabwe to join the Tuskers for the T20 competition, he was actually in Zimbabwe. They spent a lot of time in Zimbabwe last year. Himself, Blessings, and I can't remember who else they were with from Malawi. And they worked a lot last year. They worked a lot in Zimbabwe. They played in the NPL in Zimbabwe as well. So I think you're gonna start seeing good things from Donex as time goes.
Very true, and that experience of playing, you can see some of the fans there. Head coach of the Cricket Cranes. Yeah, and the coach of the runner team, Martin Suji, as well, having a discussion there with the legend of the team, Benjamin Musoke. Is there something for the spinners this afternoon? It's a bit different situation. Seems like apart from those really boundaries that were hit by Ronald Lutaya, Franklin Suvuga has found his radar. Ooh. Completely misses everything. Hands on the head there from the keeper, Robert Ajuna. I think the oohs and ahs, I don't know whether they are for the bowling or for his keeping.
Yeah, he probably expected the ball to hit the stump there, but rule number 1 as a keeper is you got to catch the ball.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the standard. That your job, you only have one job, is to stop the ball, whichever way it is.
unfortunately there that one escaped his grasp. He got a bit distracted there by the swing and the ball passing close to the stumps. I would say just keep a closer eye on the ball next time.
Brian Asaba untidy. The spinners now doing the work for the Sipi Trekkers. Joshi and Frank Nsubuk have been very tidy. They've kept the batters quiet. And two lefties facing two off spinners, so the ball is kind of going away from them. If they're going to try and come up with big shots, they'll have to hit against the turn.
Yes, the innings is now taking a very, very interesting position now, because coming into these middle overs, with them just moving just under 6 per over, with the spinners now seeming like they're taking control, it's going to be interesting to see how they play themselves out of this.
This double headers seemingly becoming difficult for the teams. How much does it take out of a player if you have two? By the way, people think T20 is a short format, but I think T20 takes a lot out of you just trying to compete.
Yes, it does. It's obviously a lot more intense. Things happen a lot quicker, and I think T20 double headers are a killer. I think a double header with a break in between games and stuff is tough enough, but is manageable. But when it comes double header and then a back-to-back and then back-to-back again, then you really start to feel it.
Good luck to you, Sakarabo, tomorrow. The dive in desperation there from Brian Asaba, and the ball will run away for 4. I think he used the wrong angle to try and cut off that ball, eventually being beaten by the spin. Thick outside edge there, Apish from Alpesh. Alpesh trying to reach for it.
Yeah, fielder just getting his hand just above the ball there. Had he had his hand down a second earlier, he would have definitely stopped 3 runs or 4 runs there.
Yeah, I think Brian will just get E for effort. But even if he had just decided to chase down the ball, could have found it wasn't that quick. End of the 11th over, 60 for 3. Just 5 runs every over. If they keep moving at this rate, we'll stop at about just over 100 runs. He needs some big hits later on to try and drag this total to somewhere along 150.
Yeah, I think in the morning, I think they actually did a bit decently to get themselves to 135. I think ideally they would have wanted a bit more on the board. But looking at how things are going this afternoon, Alpecia is going to have to knuckle down along with Donix. They do need runs on the board, but it's about how they're going to navigate these spinners.
Another good shot there from Donix. I think the T20 game, most people think it's about, trying to hit everything for a 6 or a boundary. And especially if the field is spread, the run scoring becomes more difficult when it comes to picking up boundaries. So you need to have the skill of making sure you're hitting the gap when you get a bad ball. And then even for those good balls, you need to do something. You can't stay in there batting like as if you're waiting on God.
Yes, indeed. Those are the finer skills. It's gone up in the air towards long off. Long off is settling. Oh, parries it over the boundary for 6.
You're very poor there from Jonathan Sebanja. When you've been brought into the team to try and help it pick up a win, I think you need to do much better than that. Could have saved 5 runs, but in the end, he just parries the ball over the rope for a boundary, for a 6. Poor work there from Jonathan Sebanya. Is much better than that. Man of his experience.
Yeah, when you have your fielders on the boundary, those are the things, it takes me back to Rwanda. Those are the things that happen sometimes on the field that can get a team's morale down. Not only do you lose 5 runs, but you also lost the opportunity to take a wicket. So it's almost like a double whammy, if you like.
Double-edged sword.
Yes.
What would be better, taking the catch or saving the runs?
Definitely taking the catch. I always take the wicket. It takes me back. I don't know if no, I don't think you were online at the time. But when we played Malawi in Rwanda and Kigali, a similar thing happened of my bowling. A youngster, I won't say his name, was sitting along off. Sami Sohail was on about 40 odd. Hit the ball a similar way. Similar area of the ground. Same thing happened. Parried. Chance to take a catch and ended up being parried for 6. And Mr. Sami Sohail there standing at slip ended up smashing an 80 odd or not out, winning the game with 1 ball to spare.
Wow.
Sometimes it's small moments like that.
Yeah. I think it's those small margins that really make the difference. If you run 1 extra lap, maybe you could be in position to finish the game than someone who didn't. We're into the 12th over. The work is Donex trying too hard. What do you think? What do you make of his game so far?
I think he just needs to maybe reassess his options in terms of, there we go. Okay, he's tried something different there. Definitely encourage him to keep trying. You know, the thing is you have to keep trying, find new ways of scoring runs, especially if a bowler seems like he's settled as young Joshi here is. That's a good option he's taking there. Just chipping it over cover. Put it on long off, does well. Taps it back in and he gets 2 runs for that. Those are the type of options we're talking about. Sometimes just pushing it and trying to step at it, and that doesn't really work in this T20 game. You just have to sometimes get a bit creative in how you're going to try and score your runs. There he's trying to take another option there, coming down the wicket. Looks like he's thinking on his feet, so to speak.
Yeah, very true. I think it's also the overs are going away from them. They're yet into the 70s.
Yes, I think just as I was saying it, he's tried to punch it. He didn't get successful. He tried a reverse sweep, which unfortunately didn't get runs. Oh, fantastic shot there from Alpesh. Lovely drive over the offside in the cover region for 6. As classic as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, when the shots are played like that by the lefties, they look so elegant. And this time you have to hit against the spin, inside out, one of the most difficult shots to play.
Yeah,
very
I love
good
how his hands come through here. It just basically goes right through the line. Look at that. Not a big flourish. Timing. And it goes miles. Well over the boundary rope.
Yeah, beautiful cricket shot. Again, enough runs in that over, not too much risk. It's about the skill. That shot they are hit by Alpesh. That 6, very, very beautiful.
Yes, Alpesh obviously, maybe things coming a bit more natural to him. He's probably played a higher level of cricket, so he's able to recognize balls like that much easier than maybe someone like Donex on the other side. But you did see Donex attempt it earlier in the over. He managed to chip it over the inner ring there for 2 runs. But just looking at how he was, Donex in particular was navigating that over. He tried to push at 1, it didn't work. And then he probably thought, okay, let me try something. He tried a reverse sweep. The next ball, after the reverse sweep, unsuccessful reverse sweep, he then chipped it over cover. And then the next ball, he went down the wicket. And those are the things that you have to do in T20 cricket, to just keep the bowler guessing as well.
Kevin Irakoze will come into the end to replace Frank Nsubuga from the Ginger Road end. Kevin Irakoze, Rwandan international, big body. Lefty now, I don't know how it will work because he brings the ball into the lefties. So maybe if he comes too close, he'll be just bowling into the air hitting zone, hitting arc.
To be honest with Kevin, he's not a big turn of the ball. But I did face him yesterday in the afternoon, and he did surprise me with a couple that actually gripped a little bit. That's actually the surprise ball, not the one that goes straight. So to be honest, when he did grip a couple, it then made me think twice.
Yeah.
So I think for someone like him who doesn't actually turn the ball much, if he can manage to turn a couple, 1, 2 early on, it will always keep the batsman guessing as to
Yeah.
what's happening.
You don't know which one to leave and which one to go after.
Yes.
Again, a lot of another good experience for Kevin. Still a young man learning his game. They will be at the Africa finals later in the year, the Rwanda side. So they need all the experience they can get because they'll be coming up against players who've been at the World Cup. It's going to be a whole new experience for them as a whole group.
Yes, it will be a fantastic experience, I think, for the Rwanda boys. I think they've put in a lot of work with their coach, Martin Suji. Kevin, of course, working on his skill, but experiences like this, I think, as an African continent, if we were trying to go somewhere, I think sharing the knowledge and making sure not just Uganda is strong or Kenya is strong, but making sure the countries around there are strong as well. I think those type of things could really try and help lift the level in the region, which could actually in the long term take us a lot further as a continent.
Yeah, very true. I think we grow together. Kenneth Weiss were there. I think when he went down to do that long barrier, has had some trouble with his knees. Might have done something to his knees. The physio, you can see that again. When he got up immediately, showing a lot of signs of pain.
He seems to have just jarred it into the ground there.
A very hard ground, this one. This place, if you do not know Karabo, I'll tell you that sometimes this place is more famous for music shows than actually the cricket. There are a lot of people who've been here for a music show than they have for a cricket match. So somehow over time the ground has taken a bit of a beating. But we love the music as well because a lot of the artists who come here are very, very popular. You don't dare put your show at the Lugogo Cricket Oval if you're not one of the top-notch.
Seems like, unfortunately, I'm always missing these spectacular events that you host here. I only get to hear about them in stories.
Just a little bit longer because on Feb the 13th, one of the top artists in Uganda will have a big music show here on the African continent as well. The show is dubbed Gwanga Muje, which means everyone come out and we have fun. And I'm sure it is. You've heard of Jose Chameleon, right?
Yes.
Jose Chameleon will be having his show here at the Lugogo Cricket Oval. This is not an advert for Jose Chameleon, but for someone who comes from a generation where the man has dominated us and given us some good vibes over time.
The last time I was in Uganda, an artist I picked up, I just want to confirm if he's actually from here, but it was John Black.
Yeah.
John Black was. I went back to Botswana and all I could play was John Black.
You like some of his tunes?
Yeah.
Is it the voice or the music is also good enough?
I think it's the vibe of the music. I couldn't get the songs out of my head because they were banging here at the ground all the time. So when I was on the plane back to Botswana, it was on my mind. Eventually, when I got back home, I had to get myself a download of that.
Straight over the bowler's head, Kevin, but not enough in it. Donex still struggling to get it out of the middle of the bat. Donex Kasonko, 16 of 25. Alpesh Ramjani, 21 of 19. The Itanda Kayakers, 83 for 3 after 14 overs. Very good passage of play for them for the last couple of overs.
It's a Malawian battle happening in the Samiso Hill against Donex Kasonko. I'm sure the Malawians back home are keeping a keen eye on this one. I want to see who's gonna be top at the end of this battle.
Maybe now we should see Donex breaking the shackles. The person bowling to him is someone he knows very well.
Something he recognizes. Maybe he might be looking at taking a couple over the boundary now. There we go. It's a big swing there from Donex. I think he's seeing something he recognizes. His eyes have gone big. I think they've done well to sort of settle the ship. But I don't know. What do you think? 14 overs gone. 84 on the board. They scored 130 odd this morning. What kind of total do you think they'd be looking at? I think having lost by such a thin margin in the morning, maybe they might look for that 10-15 that they didn't quite get. But they're running out of time with only 34 balls left.
Yeah, very true. And I think their captain Riyazat Alisha mentioned that I think they were a bit short. A couple of runs short. 134 wasn't good enough. So maybe they would like to get it to the 150 mark. Just make it a bit comfortable. The Sipi Trackers are missing Simon Cesars, who you feel will score the bulk of their runs. So even them, they need to be aware that they need to make sure that they don't let them get away.
Yes, that's a big blow for them. I think a lot of the betting weight this afternoon for them is going to have to be carried by Sami Sohail and skipper Kenneth Waishwa. I've liked young Brian Asaba. I had a look at him yesterday while we were playing against them and in the morning. I like the fearlessness with which he approaches his batting.
Dot ball pressure finally brings the wicket. Alpesh Ramjani has to walk for 21. His cameo comes to one end. 85 for the Itanda Kayakers. Alpesh, they are trying to go for a booming drive. Unfortunately, gets a feather through to the wicketkeeper Robert Arjuna. Sami Sohail strikes. Look at that again. Just went away at the last minute there from him.
Lovely movement. It's good skills that Sami is showing. Just taking that ball away. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit scuffed up now, so just a tiny bit of reverse happening. When he bowled to me yesterday, he actually brought one back in to me through the gate. So maybe he's just showing his range of skill there. We've already seen a couple of slow balls to Donex. He's taken one away from Alpesh there. He's bowled one in to me. So it looks like he has a full array of tricks up his sleeve.
Sami Sohail, just 20 years old, by the way. He's had a stint with the Chicago Fire in the minor league in the USA. Was the MVP for the qualifiers, the Group A qualifiers in Kigali. I think he has a very big future ahead of him. And he's always eager to learn. Was disappointed just started getting 0 in the first game. Got 20 odd in the second one, but still felt that he just hasn't done enough for his team for the kind of quality that he has.
Yes, he's been a very impressive player. First met Sami when we played qualifiers in Botswana in 2018, and even then he was a mainstay somewhat of that Malawi batting. And it's nice to see that he's carried on that. He's still on the right trajectory, and I think he's a keen learner, you know. But one thing also I know about Sami, he's a trier. Yeah, he's a trier. He'll give it his 100%. He's a 100% cricketer, and I think that alone will take him a long way.
Yeah, very true. Spoke to him as well when we, picked him up from the airport, and he mentioned that. He's looking at getting himself in the major league in the USA. Now he doesn't qualify for the minor league because he's no longer he doesn't qualify to play as an under 21 player. But if the opportunity is for him, and I think if he keeps, working very hard and putting in a very good shift, he should get himself in those conversations. And that's Beg, the new batter for the Itanda Kayakers. Beg, a son to the former captain of the Cricket Cranes, Akbar Beg, who's also the manager of their team. I'm sure his father might be biting a couple of nails just watching his son. 15 overs gone, only 5 more left in this match, in this inning. 85 for 4. Seesaw game, Karabo. Last passage of play, very good for the Sipi Trackers. But just before that, the Itanda Kayakers seemed like they were putting the run scoring together very well. Now they lose a wicket and they have to start all over again.
Yes, they looked quite comfortable in there and looking like they were getting set to go big with Alpesh and Donex set in there. young Big has just come to join Donix. But at this point in the innings, they do need that impetus. Otherwise, I think we could see I'm calling it for another nail biter come later this evening.
I don't know from where you were sitting. You might be very biased, Karabo. I think you may be you may be rooting for the Sipi Trekkers in your Sunday afternoon final. I'll remain on the ropes. I'm here for the umpires. That's my team. And Donix again shuffling across. Ooh. It's just still not coming on for Donix. It's trying to do too much, in my opinion. It's scored 18 of 30 balls. What it could do, they still have about 6 wickets for them, the Itanda Kayakers. It's been there already. Rotate the strike. You don't want to be losing wickets both ends. So just, in a 6-ball over, face at least 2. Then allow the other guys maybe to try and take more risks with the remaining deliveries. So
yes. In this T20 format, sometimes we do forget the value of 1 run, especially when you're struggling to time it. A coach of mine once said to me, "Look, the best thing you can do for yourself is actually watch from the other side. So get yourself as quickly to the other side as you can, as often as you can." And then the problem stop being yours.
Running away from the responsibility. Very good skills there from Kevin Irakoze. Anas is still a very young man, but these are situations, if you get in positions like this at very early age, you learn how to adapt and make sure that you try and work on your skill to make sure it always matches up to the expectation that comes up, that you come up against in different situations. Now you can see the Sipi Trekkers happy to allow the Itanda Kayakers take the singles as long as they're not getting the boundaries.
Yes, which is it's a funny thing that happens in cricket. It's a bit of a phenomenon. You try to go for the big shot. Oh, just drop short of the field at square leg there. A bit of hesitation as he came off the line.
Is it the sheds?
It might be. They're not all the same quality, is it?
Karabo, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. Typical wicket keeper has a lot of lip service. I never liked the sheds, in my opinion. I think they never add any value to a player. But indecision there from Fahad Mutana. Wasn't sure whether to go for the catch or try and stop the runs. In the end, doesn't do either.
Yeah, just as we were saying, the Sipi Trekkers, they're happy. It's at the end of the 16th over, and wonderful over there from Kevin Irakoze, still keeping things tight, still holding Itanda in, not letting them get away from them as they would like. Yes, I was just going to say that it's a bit of a phenomenon in T20 cricket that everybody wants to go big, or you want to score quickly and all of that. I think a lot of things a lot of coaches speak about is the number of dot balls.
Yeah.
And what you find sometimes when you're trying to go big, you're trying to be aggressive, is that you actually face more dot balls. As a result, you go for the first shot, maybe you mistime it, dot ball. You go for the second one, you miss it, dot ball. By the time the third one comes, and you decide to take a single, now you're 1 of 3 balls.
Yeah.
You've completely defeated the purpose of what you wanted to do.
Yeah, very, very true, Karabo. I think these are not enough in it there from Anas. Second wicket there for Sami Sohail. Brian Asaba taking that chance. Anas Beg doesn't get hold of that. They lose their 5th wicket. Now they're trying to make a charge of it, but then even when you have wickets in hand, the double-header day is proving very difficult for the teams. I don't know if you're worried, Karabo, because tomorrow your team, the Bujagali Rafters, might find the tide very high. You've never been to the Bujagali, Karabo. Next time you stay in Uganda a bit longer, we'll make sure that we go whitewater rafting. That's why your team are called the Rafters.
Okay. Hey, you better be careful with taking me out to the water. I'm from a landlocked country. Botswana, we don't have water. So you saying that makes me very nervous.
The gods might be crazy for Karabo on the waters, but Bujagali, one of a very, very iconic place to visit in the eastern part of Uganda. Very famous, of course, for whitewater rafting, but there are a lot of other things to see there. Probably the next edition of this Waterfall T20 should be held in the beautiful Jinja City. Then the teams will have an opportunity to go to Itanda Falls, which is also in Jinja, the Sipi, which is a distance away from Jinja, but same direction, and Bujagali, all amazing places.
Yes,
If you ever visit.
I know earlier I said I love Uganda, but clearly I love Kampala. There's a lot better things to see outside of Kampala in Uganda.
I think if you love Uganda, Kampala is just a small bit of Uganda. There's a lot more to see outside the capital.
In fact, I'd say the same about Botswana. My favorite part of the country is actually well up north, where you get to see the wildlife and all the big five and go camping and all that kind of thing. So I completely agree that actually there could be a lot more that I still have to see about this lovely country.
It's not called the Pearl of Africa by mistake, because I'm sure the man who came up with that word might have visited very many other African countries before he came to that realization. Now I think Donex Kasongo has to play himself through. He's the set man. Innocent Mweba's a new batter. He's the set man. He needs to make sure he carries his team all the way up to the end. If they're going to get, maybe they'll get to their 100 runs, but will it be enough? They have to strike very, very early with the ball.
Yes, at this rate, they'll be struggling to get to that 120 mark, the all-important runner ball mark in T20s. To be interesting to see. It looks like you've already ironed out the Itanda as the favorites for the match. But I think it's just seeing the way the pitch is playing. Actually, I'm not sure if it's the way the batsmen are playing themselves or the pitch has maybe taken a bit of a turn.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll be able to judge properly until both teams bat.
Yeah, true. And some of the shots, the quality, I think apart from that 6 that was hit by Alpesh inside out, the rest of the shots haven't been very wise. And a couple of guys have thrown away their wickets. So maybe a lot more responsibility could have helped it. Misfields again there from the Sipi Trekkers. David Wawire there at the rope, coming in very quickly, and then the ball just going through his hands. What kind of shot is that, Karabo?
It's tennis, squash, something, but not cricket. But it's effective enough to get him 6 runs that he's been yearning for and his team desperately needs, and you'll take that, Donex.
Yeah, you asked for an ugly boundary. You got an ugly maximum. Around going over the head of Frank Nsubuga.
I think at this point you'll take them anyhow.
Yeah.
I think we've seen funnier 6s hit actually in the international cricket nowadays. What we see on TV from these big teams, people are getting really creative with how to get boundaries. So I think as it goes over the rope, it counts, no matter how.
Good butts is the name of the game. Doesn't get hold of it there. Donex. The fine leg is in the fire, and the third man as well. And if you try and play the paddle, could be more. You get a lot more out of that. End of the 17th, 99 for 5. The Itanda Kayakers.
It's a funnily poised game. This, of course, only 99 on the board. But I like to say you never know how it really plays until both teams have batted. So we'll see how things develop from here. But the Itanda, they'll be looking to maybe at least getting above that 120 mark. 3 overs left for them to use. 18 balls, 30 runs maybe.
31 runs, 18 balls. Kevin Irakoze into the attack. I've liked the option that Kevin, usually when you see him playing for the run-and side, I've always felt he balls in situations that are comfortable for him. The field is spread, so he can make a couple of mistakes and get out with them. But this time they're giving him the ball in the back end of the innings when teams are looking at, trying to up the ante, and the slog is on. So that will be a good challenge for him, a good way for him to learn as well, so that you're not always going. Life is never going to be comfortable.
Yes. Something I always share with my teammates back in Botswana is that cricket is generally an uncomfortable sport. You play long hours in the sun. Being in the sun is not something that is comfortable. You're running in the middle there, whether you're batting. When you're batting, you have some pads, you have gloves, you have a helmet. Tell me what is very comfortable about all of that. So the more uncomfortable situations you have. Is that a run out at the striker's end and the umpire lifts his finger?
Took his time there, Simon Kintu. Innocent Mwebaze doesn't seem impressed, but a good throw from Frank Nsubuga. Robert Hajuna doing the rest. But I think they'd made up their minds to make sure they go for 2 runs. Six wicket down, looking at that run out again. Maybe this angle could give us a very clear view. Innocent didn't seem happy with that decision. 42-year-old Frank Nsubuga running in like a kitten, picks it up first time. Good throw to the keeper. Touch and go.
Very touch and go, but I'd like to give a shout out to Frank Nsubuga because just the over before we'd seen him attempt a catch on the long on boundary, and with all the youngsters on the pitch, he's taken it upon himself to give him the responsibility to get to the long on boundary on the other side.
Yeah. No, I think Frank, since he's been a very young man, since even when he was a young man, actually he's nicknamed Since because he's been playing this game for so long. It's a pick and throw from him. We don't have that angle from the cameraman, but could have told a different story. Frank is always in those high traffic areas. He's not the kind you find standing in sleep and nothing is happening. He wants to be where the action is.
So he's not like me.
You're very well known. We have another local captain here. We used to have a local captain in one of the clubs who is like you, Karabo. He would stand in sleep for all the 50 overs.
I must defend myself. This time I'm not the captain. Brian is the captain. So he has put me at sleep. So I don't know if so maybe he knows where to hide me.
He knows your high traffic area. So this local club captain would stand in sleep for all 50 overs. And Kevin Izakos has also bowled well even under pressure. I think he's learned how, like you mentioned, he learned how to make sure he controls the spin, not giving a lot of flight so that the batters can get under him. So you need to find a way of scoring shots against him.
Yes. Yeah, I think he's done very well. He's generally a wicket-to-wicket bowler, but he seems to have this ability to do that. Like just get some to skid on, some to grip a little. He also, as a spinner, he has the option of a yorker.
Yeah.
He seems to be able to get that ball right in the block hole sometimes at will. So those are good skills that with the height, if he can just get that leg spinner going well, I think it can work for him.
Bad ball there from Kevin, punished by Bilal Hassan. They always tell you make sure your best balls are the first or the last. This time giving away boundary after very good over. Not easy to ball in the last 3 overs because the batters are looking to have a half tracker. Picked up there very well by Bilal Hassan. Bilal, not a rabbit with a bat at all. Very, very good batter.
Yes, just as we were singing Kevin's praises there, he just strays on the shorter side and gets pulled away to the empty square leg boundary.
Yeah, I think that's the one that he tried to really turn instead of just letting him go through with the arm.
I think having bowled that quick skidder before, he probably thought, let me try and get one to really rip, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him that time.
Sami Sohail has picked 2 wickets, giving away just 9 runs in 2 overs. He'll be bowling to his countryman, Donix Kasongo. 107 for 6. Have 12 more balls left in the game. 12 to get at least 23 runs. It's still not coming out of the middle very well for Donex. He's on 30 of 37. That's a strike rate of just below 100.
Yes.
Not good enough for T20, huh?
No, having been in this position quite a number of times myself, you tend to forget the simple things, as a batter.
Yeah.
Sometimes actually staying still and just telling yourself to hit through the line can work for you. Sammy's clearly not putting too much pace on the ball with third man up. So, haven't played with each other. He just needs to assess his options at the moment. You forget to do, also having batted for quite a number of overs, you forget those small things. Watch the ball, keep your head still, try and have a stable base, because the longer you bat, sometimes you just lose that shape a little bit. So right now in his mind, that's what he needs to be telling himself.
So most times, what is it? Is it the fear of getting out, or is it the pressure, to try and get the run scoring going?
I think sometimes it's actually an over-eagerness. Yeah, sometimes an over-eagerness, that the team needs runs. You know that maybe you're a little bit behind the runs at the time, and that eagerness can tense up your hands. It can get you making movements that you don't really do. Your shoulders are a little bit tense. You're not really hitting through the ball as you should. As you're holding your bottom man gets a bit tighter now. You're skewing the ball left and right instead of hitting it in the gaps that you're planning to. So those are the kind of things that can happen in a situation like this for Donex.
But like the head coach of the Cricket Cranes likes to preach, you only get better by playing. I think these are all lessons that the Malawi boys will take back home. Yesterday, I spoke to Donex after the first 2 games for the Sipi Trackers, and realized that he has a long way to go in terms of how to play this game. The quality of the cricket here challenged his skill, I must say.
Yes, and that's the way you learn. I think I can think of a number of scenarios that I found myself in terms of like eye-opening. Getting into a level of cricket where it's like, wow, I thought I was okay, and then all of a sudden you're struggling, and you don't quite know what the answer is, but you then get to learn very quickly that there's always a level that you can attain that is above where you are or what you are used to.
And I think the thing I liked about that is that him making that realization was one thing, but doing something about it was another. He told me in the evening that tomorrow morning, when we come here, we were playing in the afternoon, I'd like to go to the nets first. So I saw him in the morning, he went to the nets, worked out with a couple of guys who were there. So it's clear to him that, you could sit back and, feel sorry for yourself, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to make sure that he's good enough to compete in the Elite League every other time it comes around.
Yes, and I'm a big believer in that. And if you're maybe feeling a bit doubtful about certain things, if you're just trying to find some confidence, shot picked up on the leg side, but it's just a single there to deep square leg. When you find yourself in situations where you don't quite know where the answer is, the only answer is to go and get into the nets, hit as many balls as you can. Sometimes even my teammates can look at me funny, wondering what's wrong with this guy. Why can't we get him out of the nets? But that's because you're just searching for that thing. I believe that a lot of the time batting should actually come as second nature. Yeah, I feel like a lot of things should just come naturally. You just see the ball and then things happen. And that's when I feel like I'm playing the best. So I'm a big believer. Go and hit all the shots that you think you go through all your options, in certain scenarios and everything, and that's how you can improve.
End of the 19th over, 113 for 6.
Yes, 1 over to go, 113 for 6 here, the Itanda. Maybe they'll be looking to get maybe 10-12 runs off this last over if they can have a couple of blows over that boundary rope. We find the boundary. Maybe the pitch has maybe lost a bit of pace from the morning again. Also, it is the second day that is being played on for fourth game. So maybe it's just beginning to react a little bit to all the usage.
I'm wondering how it will be playing in the final because it's starting to show some signs of losing a bit of life. Couple of balls staying low. And for this competition, it's a T20 tournament. You want to see runs. Swing and a miss from Bilal Hassan. His intention's very clear. Walking across the line, walking across his stumps, and trying to hit the ball into Bugolobi.
Yes, and I know it's the most natural swing that Bilal probably has, but looking at the option there, you have a point and a short third man in place, and the next closest fielder on the boundary is at the sweeper. So maybe using that angle that Sebanja is providing him.
There will be no catching that. 6 runs to Bilal Hassan.
Oh, what do I know? Maybe he can just keep doing that. Forget the options.
Yeah, I think what he's doing, and Sebanya is not picking it up, that he's gone back deep in his crease and he shuffles across the stump, so he's really trying to target that boundary. If you just bowled it into that off stump, I don't think you'll have enough room to free his arms, but when he shuffles across the stumps, he's really trying to make sure he hits you across the line.
Yes, I think the issue that Sebanja is having there is that he's just able to get underneath the ball, and he does it again.
Yeah, back-to-back sixes there for Bilal Hassan. Sebanja now put under the pump.
Yes, this could be a really make or break moment here in the game. If the Itanda just managed to grab the momentum here going into the field, that could really be the killer for the Sipi, who are a little bit short on confidence in terms of their batting so far in the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a good call by the captain. Kevin still had an over to ball, and he wasn't going for runs, so maybe it could have been a better option. Sebanja is not bringing anything to the table, in my opinion. He's just walking in and floating the ball. He's not hitting the deck hard. He's not bowling slower balls. So
he's not finding the block hole.
Yeah, those length balls.
Let's see, he's changed his angle and come around the wicket now.
A hat-trick of sixes here from Bilal Hassan. There's not enough pace in what Sebanja is bowling to really trouble Bilal.
Yeah.
You can see Bilal walks across the stumps and he's only making sure he's targeting to hit one side of the ground.
Yes, looking at what I think Sebanja just tried to roll his fingers over that one, but once again I'll say death overs and being able to get underneath the ball, I think that's what's working for Bilal Hassan at the moment. And if he can just find that length where it makes it difficult for Bilal to get under the ball, it might help salvage something for this innings.
Yeah, Bilal has quickly gone to 27 of 10 balls. Something the Itanda Kayakers needed, and they're able to find.
Yeah, big discussion there between Sebanja and Captain Kenneth Waiswa. Trying to discuss the options, maybe just slowing the game down, trying to make sure Bilal Hassan isn't picking up a flow, trying to disturb that flow.
Let's see if the delay tactics will work.
That's an edge. Looks like he decided to go a little bit harder length and a little bit further outside off stump, with Bilal Hassan just looking to go in the same region. But he manages to finally get his man. Looks like they worked.
Yeah, that small discussion working for the Itanda for the Sipi Trekkers. Sebanja finally getting his man, but I think the damage had been done by Bilal Hassan. Those 3 sixes have moved the total to at least 131 for the Itanda Kayakers. They might feel a bit confident with that kind of total. 131, so much better than 110. A very good catch there from Robert Ajuna. Stuck out a hand, juggled it a little bit, but eventually he's in proper control of the catch. Muted celebrations from the Sipi Trekkers. They know they've given away a lot of runs. Harsh Panchal, the new batter for the Itanda Kayakers, his first time to get a chance in the tournament.
Yes, Harsh Panchal coming in without the helmet, and Sebanja's first option is to dig the ball in. But that brings an end to the Itanda innings. They've managed to come together to 131 for 7. Just 3 runs short of where they found 2 runs short of where they found themselves in the morning. So I think with the flow of the tournament so far, they might be feeling a bit confident to defend that score.
Yeah, 32 not out there for Donex Kasongo. 32 of 40 balls. I think a very good cameo for him. Someone needed to hold one end, and he's done a good job there for his side. Sipi Trekkers, maybe apart from that final over, I think they had done so well in the other 19 overs to make sure that they restrict the Itanda Kayakers to a very small total. Sipi Trekkers yet to get off the mark in terms of wins. Maybe they will be liking this one, 131. Their highest total so far, 115 in the loss to the Bujagai Rafters yesterday afternoon. They will need to find runs in their second innings because they are missing Simon Cesars, who has an exam to write. But they have a small discussion before they walk to their dugout. And I think the coach player there, Frank Subuga, asking each one of them to have to take responsibility when they come out to bat. We'll leave you with the highlights from the first innings as we take a break.
for the second innings. Love to know that the target is 132, 131 set by the Kayakers from Itanda. Sipi on 7. Harsh Panchal playing his first match of the tournament, going for just 6. And the trackers from CP without Simon Sesazi, who's writing an examination right about now. Whites there from Bilal Hassan. He's bowled wides on the offside and wides on the leg side, controlling with the new ball. It's been a little tough for him here. All the runs is considered as just extras today. Bilal, so far, he had a little beautiful cameo at the back end of the first innings. 3 sixes back to back, a hat-trick of them off Jonathan Sebanja, who has been traded from the Kayakers of Itanda to the Trackers to give them some power as they look for a victory here. Their double-header day yesterday, unable to win anything. They will want to pick up one here and believe they can pick up another. If they pick up one here, the CP Trackers will have taught very big bad manners to the Itanda Kayakers, because they will have lost 2 on their day like the Trackers did. You will be listening to a very big voice at the end of the over. Just the one ball left here. I've kept him on the back foot. He's waiting. The big fish in the comms box waits and waits to say a word, but I'll introduce who that is as Bilal Hassan comes through. The last ball of the over. The time they are being taken. You guys enjoyed a very beautiful first innings. The voice of Karabo Motlanka, Botswana captain, telling you of how much the Elite League brings to the table for many players, including one Donex Kasonko. A little clip there. They'll get another run there. And to end the second, the score is 10 for no loss. Allow me to introduce the technical director of the Waterfalls T20 Elite League, also the high performance manager of Uganda Cricket Association, as well as the head coach of all cricketing teams in Uganda and the coach of the Cricket Cranes, a man of many hats, Lawrence Matlani. Welcome to the comms box.
Yeah, good afternoon, Innocent. Good afternoon to all the viewers. Exciting times. Exciting way to start the season, I think. And for me, it's always about finding that new talent, see if the old folks still have it. And
About the neighbors, a couple of the neighbors unable to come through as the technical director. Kenya promising, Tanzania promising, and opting out of the 11th hour. The tournament, or you just happy they open up a door for another person?
yeah, I think again it's about opportunity. You know, unfortunately in Tanzania they've got their club semi-finals this week, and would have been good to see some of their star performers, but it's important that they also perform in their domestic league. And I think with time we're looking for growth. It's looking to be an annual event that we make sure we see a lot of growth within it.
Talking about growth, as young man, Innocent, not the commentator, but Innocent, the player, Mwebaze, shot number 76 from Ginger Road End with his first over. Umpire is happy with that.
Yeah, Innocent is an exciting prospect. Had a bit of a sore back towards the end of last year, and he was picked actually in the national squad on standby in case of any injuries for the Rwanda trip. That's an exciting year about his prospect as a player.
Tournament of prospects, a tournament for the youngsters, a tournament with the ambitions to give the under-19s, the under-23s something to learn from the bigger players. Not just for the players, there's something for everybody. The umpires growing through the ranks. Olivier Ntangishaka from Kigali has been here from Rwanda. The commentators, Bob Bashir Songa coming through from Rwanda. It's a give and a win-win situation for everybody here.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to obviously more people coming through on the weekend to come see some of this new exciting talent. I think when you write those stories and you mention names, some people might have never heard of them. And it would be nice to see these young players really enjoyed Luta's innings yesterday in partnership with Ozim Bat. So two scales of one very old gentleman who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and a youngster coming through the ranks.
You talk about this, many of the people there, as this one is a flicked off his legs, won't run away to the boundary. There is a fine stop down there from Hassan Bilal. Innocent Mwebaze getting some words of encouragement from his captain, Rizat Alisha, talking about a little more about Rizat Alisha and his captaincy, what he brings to the table. He's been able to get the best out of Inyas Interenganya from Rwanda, who looked like on the national scene is still lost when he plays for Rwanda. He comes here, picks up a play of the match award on day one. He has some money in his wallet already. Good things happening, coach.
Yeah, it's a good shot there by Young Asaba. It's not a half volley at all. He's picked that on the up. And that's what this is about. He has a new player in the Rwandan team. Asaba also a former under-19 player getting an opportunity. One of the contracted players, junior contracts at Uganda Cricket, because again, we see potential. And for me, if you're going to watch Uganda Cricket for the next 10 years, you'll remember most of these names where you saw them first.
Talking about that, and of course Uganda Cricket going to places where they've never been before. Elite League was a pipe dream, no longer far-fetched now. It's all happening. It's all happening in Uganda. We are in the heart of the city, Kampala. This is the Pearl of Africa, and Elite Cricket comes here. How have you managed to keep the players happy? What is in need for them, these big boys, the professionals and the locals?
Yeah, I think we've spoken about opportunity, and over the last 2 years, Uganda Cricket, as Uganda men's team, we've played 49 T20 internationals, 10 list A games. I'll continue after this particular ball from Innocent. And what it is unfortunately when you've got such a heavy schedule, injuries do happen. We see in this tournament we haven't got Cosmos Cheuto sitting in the stands. We haven't got Deus Muhumuza. We haven't got Fred Achelam. So it's opportunities that if injuries do happen, then at least we've built some kind of depth and capacity to ensure that we remain competitive.
No prize money in the inaugural edition. That gives you guys, who are the as an umpire there, calls for no ball. Very experienced umpire on the elite panel for Africa, Patrick Makumbi. No ball from Innocent. Young lads learning on the job and overstep there. Would love to see what Stockball is got in store when he bowls a free hit for a free hit.
Yeah, the beauty about this is performing under pressure. There is a bit of a crowd. There's TV cameras. There's Mr. Ndaula, the voice of cricket in Uganda, also on my left. So they know that they're under the microscope, and we learn a lot more about characters out here.
Cheeky. That is beautiful.
And that is what's exciting. It's just the fearlessness of youth that we see. And Asaba yesterday scored 23 batting in the middle order. Today, with Simon Sasazi out, has been moved up to the top of the order. It's 25 without loss here after 3 overs. And what a shot. Innocent, how many 19, 20-year-olds do you know are brave enough to do that?
If you go on and ask many people of the 47 million Ugandans here, what were you doing at the age of 19, 20? They won't say so much, but Asaba will say, I was playing deal scoops to the boundary for my franchise and for my country. We saw Asaba at the World Cup. He always got stats, never converted them, but it comes with experience. And he comes here playing in a new role where Simon Sasazi will be writing an exam and trying to look at the phone, and will be happy that there is something happening, something good. As Orokide Tuisenge flicks this one off his legs for a boundary there, right into the heart of his team.
Yeah, it's been a good start, hasn't it been, for Sipi? After a tough day yesterday at the office, they've really come out and shown a lot more character. I thought they did it with the ball. I thought they did it with the field. When you're missing nearly 1,200 runs of international T20 runs, you could look down on yourself. You've lost 2 games. You've lost your best player. But these young men have come out and showed that they've got a bit of character.
Tuisenge with love from Rwanda facing Bilal Hassan. Another little whip off his pads. Back-to-back boundaries. One was in mid-wicket. This one is down to the square leg region. Sorokide, who is making the scoreboard tick for the Trekkers of Sipi.
Yeah, and again, what an opportunity for this man. He's been around for a while. He's played a bit of club cricket in Uganda before. And he performed very well for Rwanda over the last 2 tournaments. So it's exciting for even guys like Bilal Hassan to get in a bit of pressure with a known international performer.
Man who was the first century for Rwanda in T20 cricket. Best batsman during the qualifiers last year. Whites to be pressure for Bilal. He is in some sort of pressure right now.
Yeah, he is, but very experienced campaigner, Bilal. And I'm sure he'll be fighting hard to get back into it. It's interesting that he chose to run into the wind, running from the Shell Road so a bit of a struggle for the old man, but I'm sure that mind is working overtime. My expectation of the next delivery is either a Yorker or a good bouncer. Bouncer into the wind, I'm not sure, but I think a Yorker is his bread and butter.
Place your bets. The coach has called it. Here's Bilal Hassan with the feather ball just outside off stump. Money lost.
I lost money there because I genuinely thought he was going to try the Yorker, but he's tried the bouncer and didn't rise as high and as quickly as he wanted it to because, as I said, running into the wind as an old man, never easy.
132. Is it enough for Itanda Kayakers to pull back one on their double-header day? Or are they going to follow that unfortunate script set by the strikers yesterday of CP, who lost their double-header day? The 2 rubbers there lost. Kayakers already lost to Bujagali today. And looks like it's the Trekkers who are in charge for the moment. Chance for a run out. He was gone for all money. Orochide just strolling through like an old man on a Sunday evening in the park and getting home safe and dry.
Yeah, and young Brighton is a very good fielder. Leg spinner. I hope Riazar Ali Shah will give him a go with the ball. He's been exciting in the internal games. He'll be disappointed with that because you sometimes get these opportunities in the game and it's about taking them, even if it's just a half a chance, because you're talking about 133. Is it enough? Or that run out could have got them back into this game.
Very well said. Asawa, lucky to still be there. Looked like he wanted to flick it. Had hands.
Yeah, again, it's one of those situations. It actually, watching this tournament, has reminded me of my first couple of weeks here when Deus Mahumuza came back and was starting to run and bowling at 108 kilometers per hour. A lot of the young men, because of his previous reputation, got a bit scared and he ended up bouncing people out until they realized that they could play him. So we've seen it here with a couple of the youngsters, and it will stand them in good stead as they grow into their game in the future.
James Kisame listening in there says he loves the commentary of the coach. Coach would love to change careers. I know you've been in the comms box before, but this is the end of over number 4. It is none for 13 for Bilal Hassan. The score is 35 for no loss after 4.
Yeah, thanks, Innocent, for having me. It's been, I started commentary in 2001. 19 years of commentary before this, so very glad to be behind the mic. But as I leave you with those that are now experts, me, I'm old fart who's retired from Cobb's Box, to enjoy and describe this game. It should be an exciting game.
There they go, touch and run. The technical director of the Elite League takes his leave, Lawrence Matlane. He gave us a little beautiful cameo here in the Combs Box. We loved him, we loved it all. It's been very instrumental. I'll give him some roses as he goes away. Matlane, partly the reason why yours truly is one of the leading commentators in Africa. Opened up the doors, got me to do some courses. South Africa, with the media managers there, especially one guy called Lita Kyo. Hash Panchal back in the attack, cramping young Asaba for room. As you allow me here to introduce the big voice, one man who has his future getting started in the Combs Box. I tell you, with the way he's commentating, first in Rwanda, with us at the Tri-Nation tournament, and here in Kampala, him earning the mileage, coming back to Uganda for the first time in 6 years, not as a player but a commentator. The sky will be the start. Bob Bashil Songa, welcome to the Combs Box. Big hit as Bob is welcome in the Combs Box with one that is muscled by Brian Asaba out of the park. A young man who has big broad shoulders and loves to hit the long ball a long way out.
Look at that there on your replay. Talking about welcoming me here in the Combs Box. Innocent, thank you so much. And Brian Asawa himself, he must have had you welcoming me, and then he's like, let me welcome Bob with a maximum. Look at that, pick that. Half tracker there. He jumps to 23 off 17 deliveries.
Pranasaba playing in a new role as an opener. He has the trackers on the back foot. They are wondering what can they do to pick up one here, because one will set them on their way.
Very interestingly here, not sure why Brian Asaba took long to get going. He has a century on his back in Rwanda. He's a hard-hitting guy. Saw him in the field. He was a little bit sloppy, but you can see he's making it up for his team. Cut away by Orkide to Yisenge, who is on 13 off 12 deliveries. Very good start here for the Trekkers. Much needed win for them moving forward in the tournament. As you see there on our screen, the captain himself warming up, getting ready to come and bowl a few and see if he can break this partnership.
I know you were out there in the middle, Bob, with the captain, Mr. Riazat Alisha, called him Mr. Finisher of the Great Cranes. Not able to do that so far in this tournament. Slower ball of sorts. Leading edge down to third man. As we come to the end of the fifth over. 1 over left in the power play. It is 45 for no loss. I would love to hear some of the stories you shared. All you had with Mr. Riazat Alisha as he won the toss and opted to bat first.
Riazat Shah, after winning the toss straight away, as he decided to bat, he talked about the way he was disappointed with the morning game, not getting enough runs on board for his team to defend. But he talked about getting something around 150 plus as the wicket has been used and it was drying up. But unfortunately, he fell short from the target of the morning game. But again, you can't forget the bowling from the Sipi Trekkers, who are looking for their first win. Plays it across the line, loud appeal there. The umpire is not interested. It looked like the impact was slightly outside off.
Leg by is indicated by the umpire standing out there in the middle. Simon Chinto, an ICC umpire. Razat Alisha not happy with the decision from the umpire, but umpires today are braver. You won't be seen bullying them. They know the rules, they know the lines, the invisible lines. They see the page, they look at the body language. These guys, they are psychologists of sorts.
Yeah, you can see talking about that decision, even the wicket keeper, Steve Wabose, was asking the umpire, was it height? What was it? Interestingly, here Riazat bowling to Orkide Rwanda international opener. He has a century on his back in T20 eyes. He got him in their first game yesterday. I believe this is the reason the captain came on into the attack to see if he can get Orkide. Slow ball, but slightly down the leg side. Very good thinking by the bowler, Riazat Ali Shah, the captain himself. But the looks of the required run rate, which is at 5.7, I believe Sipi Trekkers are in for a good game here.
They need to continue believing. The name of the game is for them to hold fort and play long innings. These two guys out there, when you get a start, you need to convert it. They had a long hurdle. Their coach player, Frank Nsubuga, throwing his finger around them, saying everybody here needs to stand up and be counted today. We are either playing this game or packing up our bags and leaving the hotel and checking out because we're not good enough to play in this tournament. He's been lucky. He's got 4 international players in his team. And I tell you, responsibility is being shown by the Trekkers thus far.
Absolutely. Very good to see these youngsters stepping up. In the air, catches the call. But the ball races away to the boundary. Lovely piece of batting by Orkide to Yisenge on the up. Beats the fielder at mid-off, who put in a dive, Bilal Hassan, but unfortunately.
Look at the replay. Ball on the 4th stump there. Is that Alisha in full flow, but it's Orochide's blood that flashes him through the offside. Desperate dive from Bilal Hassan. Tall man, lanky fellow. Sweet time of the ball, Orokide. And he's worked overtime over his fielding. When he played in the Ugandan League, he wasn't as good. But today, he's a beast of a fielder in the park. Likes to hang around point and in the sleeves. And manages to grasp everything within his reach.
Very true there, Innocent. Orkide talking about his fielding. He has really surprised everyone back at home and across the world. But again, this game, where it's heading, you can't just bat without fielding. You have to be a good fielder to be in any team in this world. Because remember, you might fail with a bat or ball, but give 150% in the field and win your team a game. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, 4 to 5 years ago, David Miller won a man of the match in the field, taking 5 catches because of his skills in the field. And that brought us to the end of the power play. 51 for no loss. Very good power play it is for the Sipi Trekkers.
First time the Sipi Trekkers have been to conjure up an opening stand of 50. The 50, of course, coming up in that 6th over. Good things happening there. They've been able to get 42 runs from the bat, and they've been gifted 8 runs in extras. They'll take them whichever way they come. Simon Sesazi, whatever he is writing an exam, he'll be thinking, I wish they can bury this out. We come back fighting tomorrow and make sure we can improve our net run rate an inch closer to the final. You look at the table. The table shows you that it's the Rafters on top with 4 points. Kayakers have the best net run rate, but they suffered a loss today. And the Trekkers, they have a -5 run rate. They need to do something, and that something is pick up a victory here and then tomorrow go for the net run rate. Changes and changes. It is Alpesh Ramjani brought into the attack, left arm, orthodox. Cut very hard. Who wants that? There is protection in the deep. Harsh Panchal chips in a very good throw. Very good cricketer. Bilal Hassan offering the backup. Coming through from down. There at square leg. Big field here. Packed.
Short ball there, soft hands left alone. But good to see the young Brian Asawa showing Alpesh. Even though I've blocked that one, it was easy pickings for me. But I know I have 53 runs on board. No need to rush. Very good to see these two opening batsmen making sure. Loud appeal there. But the Uganda international Patrick Makumbi is not interested at all. Talking about these two opening out there, they're making sure Simon Sesazi is not being missed. But remember, all in all, education comes first. Soft hands again, straight to point. Very good comeback there from Alpesh.
When you finish school, Bob, you need to put food on the table. You need to have an income, a steady income and a stable one. He steps down trying to have a little dance. The dance floor is a hot place. You don't go out in the middle if you don't dance properly. He stamped. Young Robert Ajuna completing the stamping there. Big wicket for the Itanda Kayakers. The danger man Asawa goes for 27 from 25 balls.
Look at that. Saw him charging down. Paused it slightly away from him. And yet another young batsman fails to convert 20s into a big score. We saw Roger Mukasa, the experienced player, early in the morning, taking his time, scoring much needed 49 runs for his team. But again, these youngsters getting a good start and chipping away easy wickets in the end. And that brings Sohail Sami on strike. Very natural, talented all-rounder he is. Very handy with the ball in the first innings. Getting that big wicket of Alpesh Ramjani, who looked to be in fine touch earlier in the innings. Is it time for payback for Alpesh Ramjani and the Itanda? Taking guard is Sohail Sami, all the way from Malawi. Very youngster here, innocent. Interestingly, he's just 20 years of age, but he has bagged a lot of trophies.
Well placed in the gap. Lutaya Ronald will fetch and send back to the bowler. It's the end of the first over from Alpesh Ramjani. It goes for 3 runs and he picks up a wicket. It's a tight over there from him. 54 for 1 with Brian Asawa gone. The new find for Uganda from Fort Portal, the tourism city of Uganda. Orochidetu Isenge is on a run a ball, 17 from 17. Over number 8 will be bowled by that man, the captain of this side. Kayakers from Itanda looking to wade through the Sipi. Falls without much fuss.
We saw earlier in the morning in the first game, Pujagali Rafters. That's a loud inside edge there. We saw them getting off to a flyer with a very good start. But again, they had to win off the last delivery of the inning, chasing just 134. Are we yet to have another collapse in batting here? But if you are a CP Trekkers fan out there, you don't want to hope for such a collapse after having a lovely start, 54 for 1 in just 7.2 deliveries. That's a dream start to a team which is looking for their first win to stay alive in the tournament. Zatsha Ali is pumped there in his run-up. He knows he has to deliver for his team. Doesn't want to lose 2 games in this doubleheader of Itanda Kayakers. Easy pickings there from Sohail. Sami gets a single and brings Orkide to Isenge Rwanda International on strike.
Nice little cover drive there again from Orkide, who is happy to play the anchor role here. He's dropped anchor and he wants to go through these innings. He's not trying to play too many shots. He's happy to wait from the non-striker's hand and hand over the strike to Sami Sohail, the MVP from the sub-regional qualifier B down in Kigali at the back end of the year. Big appeal for a catch.
Look at that on the replay there. Charges in, drops it slightly shorter, tries to play him over that regional fine leg. Might have brushed his t-shirt. We could see by the way Riazat Ali Shah was walking back. He knew he wanted to see if the umpire is alert.
Waking up the umpire is what we used to call it as youngsters. Nowadays the umpires are much sharper. That is edged fine. Very, very fine. We'll go for 4. Ali Shah has a little chat with the umpire about that particular, the penultimate ball of the over. Last ball goes for 4. He spoils his own over. He goes for 6. Still within touching distance. Alpesh Ramjani could do more with making up for that. If he can pick up 1 here quickly.
60 for 1 in 8 overs here at Lugogo Cricket Oval. Crowd catching up minute by minute. We are in for a very good encounter between these two. Itanda Kayakers and the CP Trekkers. Can Kenneth Waiswa and his team get their first win? As we see Alpesh Ramjani coming into ball from the Ginger Road side. Orkide to Isenge, is he going to have a taste of him? Drops it short, beats the outside edge, left alone by Orkide, who was lazy on that shot. Very good figures he has. Already 1 wicket, just giving away 3 runs. Beats the outside edge again. Big turn there for the left arm. Alpesh Ramjani. Talking about this Alpesh Ramjani, I saw him bat some crucial knocks out there in the Africa T20 in South Africa. Not sure why he didn't travel with the team back in Rwanda for the East Africa Tri-Nation Innocent You know these guys very well, better than me. Is there any reason behind why he didn't travel with the team?
Peshram Jani was on the team, only removed from the team and replaced by Emmanuel Hasaya at the very end. No catching practice for the fielders. Innocent Mwebaze will do with the collecting and chipping the ball back to Ramjani. Ramjani, his mother was ill, and Ramjani felt that it was necessary for him to go back home and keep near mom, offer his commiserations and comfort to an ailing parent. We are only alive today, Bob, because our parents did bring us to the world. So mommy's love was all there to show for Ramjani, who clearly said he will miss the tournament, but he's got to go see mommy.
That's a lovely over from that man himself. Alpesh Ramjani just giving away 1 run. 61 for 1 after 9 overs. Very good comeback. A little bit of meeting there in the middle with the umpire and the players, as well as the batsmen out there in the middle, Orkide and Sohel. Sami, good friends there. They've played together back in Rwanda for a couple of times. They know they have a lot to do if they are to get to that win.
The two are some of the professionals in this Sipi Trekkers side. Sami Sohel, fierce competitor. Him and Orokide must earn their bucks, the big bucks, the tagline of being professionals in this league. The overseas players in this tournament, right there in the middle. Frank Nsubuga, the coach player, who will demand of them nothing but to bat out all the overs and get the runs they require. They need a few more because they're in 61 for 1 after 9. They need another 71 runs from 66 balls. The little matter of 71. Is it going to be easy for Sipi Trekkers, with them introducing a new bowler for the first time in the tournament, the young Brighton Muganzi, a very good leg spinner who's got his chance to shine at the big stage now.
Talking about that young man there on the screen coming into ball from the shell end. Can he deliver for his captain? He has been given a very big task ahead. Given the ball when Orkide looks to be in fine touch, and Sami Sohel taking his time to get his eye in. Can he be the man? We've seen another youngster in the same side, Joseph Baguma, taking charge, leading from the front. This is a very good opportunity for this young man here. Cuts away powerfully. No run, not even a single fielder moved an inch. Welcome to T20 world, young man. Orkide says. Pose it slightly shorter. What a lovely punch there from Orkide to Isenge, who moved to 23 off 23 deliveries. Same ball, but this time round the keeper is up on his feet very quickly to deny them a second run. Lovely to see in this elite tournament that a lot of youngsters are being used. 2 is the call. Orkide is running, is looking for the second one. He gets there comfortably in the end. Very good running by these two. It was Orkide's call. He knew he was going in the danger zone, and he decides to take on the arm of Alpesh at the boundary. Gets there comfortably in the end. Very good game here. Sipi Trackers on the other end. They look to be in the comfort zone at the moment. Another full delivery driven powerfully to the fielder at long off for a single. Very good rotation of strike by these two. This is the very perfect way of how teams should be chasing any score whatsoever. Get a boundary, keep rotating the strike. Turn ones into twos, as we just saw there. Orkide telling his partner, so here, let's take on the fielders at the boundary. It is a long boundary. The sun is out.
Standing back at 30 yards because Orokide is using power to play the leg spin of Brighton Muganzi, who will find the going tough against two overseas players. Keeping very low and very low. Orokide misses out on a half track of sorts. It is the end of the 10th, and at the halfway stage, the score is 69-1 for the CP Trackers. Match day number 2, game number 4. CP Trackers up in arms against the Itanda Kayakers. It was the Kayakers that won the toss, and they set 131, target 132. The required rate going on from here, they need just 63 runs, and the required rate is easy mathematics, 6.3 runs per over. They've looked very well after that wicket column as the way to go about business. Razat Alisha's captaincy, leadership metal is being tested fully here. He's going to earn the stripes as a potential or as a future captain for Uganda.
Absolutely sure, they are very good in general for Team Uganda. The national team having 3 captains so far in this elite. The new captain, who is Razat Alisha. That's a little bit high for the young man there, looking to get a wicket whatsoever the height was. That was hit on the thigh pad. And Kenneth Waiswa, Brian Masawa, all captains of their sides. But you can see straight away the captain, the men's captain, Brian Masawa, hasn't lost a game so far in the tournament. He is leading from the front for the Bujagari Rafters, showing all the experience. Straighter. Poor effort there from the bowler. He would have stopped that one. That's half an effort from Mwewaze. Innocent.
You've got to help yourself. As a bowler, anything hit back straight at you. Chip in a dive, a run saved. There's a run almost made. At the end of the day, these T20 rubbers we've seen, they go down to the wire. Teams win by 1 run, by 2 runs. Already seen some of that in this tournament. The Bujagari Raptors only able to win by one wicket in the morning. That morning blitz between them and the Kayakers, who are playing their double-header day. Rizat Alisha fighting and fighting to the very end. It was Juma Miyagi who broke the Camel's back with a flourishing boundary. Trapped things up in the final over there with 4 balls left. Everybody thinking we could get a super over. But the second last ball of the innings was a wide, and they ran for 2, so they got 3, relieving the pressure. The Bujagari Rafters.
Very good to see here. So Hel Sami taking his time. We all know he loves going for the biggies, but this time round he's taking things very simple and easy. He knows he needs a record run rate of just under 6 and over. It's very possible for these two out there in the middle. The field is spread. Just keep picking those gaps. No ball called. And they get a single in the end. And the fumble, they're looking for a second one. But the young man is alert. You don't want to run on the misfield. And Sami Sohail is batsman to face the free hit. Much needed for him to break the shackles and see if he can get a boundary.
Just tuned into the live stream, you're listening to the beautiful voice of a man who is only getting started in his career as a commentator. Some flowers here, roses in particular, for Bob Bashil Tsonga, the former captain of the Rwanda national team. He whispered to someone earlier this morning that his comeback could be on. We will wait to see, but I think, Bob, you can make a better career in the comms box here.
Only one way to find out, Innocent, as we see free hit coming. Up. 1 bounce for 4. Says Samisohe, thank you so much to that free hit. Easy pickings. No chance whatsoever for the fielder there. Lovely piece of timing there.
Free hit, balled into his leg. Sami Sohail was found creating room further and further, backing away from his stumps, saying you can go for the stumps, but Mweba is a guilty party there for following him. Sami Sohail, 1 bounce. That one almost disturbing the director down there in the box because it was hit straight to his corner. Chance to run. Hopefully Mwebas is okay. He had a sore back at the back end of the season, almost breaking into the national setup. Innocent Mwebas, my namesake. Well, he's not very innocent there because he knows something about the game. He knows a little too much. 79 for 1 bob. The initiative of the runs required moves from the Itanda Kayakers. It is the Sipi Trekkers that are having the advantage now, as they need just 5.89 runs. That was the overballed by Innocent Mwebaze. And that is there. The free hit that you just saw there hit straight into the production house of Podgal Group, a team that are bringing to you live pictures in high definition, Super HD, a production like no other. 5 cameras. You have angles from 5 different cameras. This is very beautiful. And Lugogo too, looking in pristine condition. On a Friday, we thank God it's a Friday. No dull moment in this beautiful city of Kampala, a city of 7 hills. The nights are crazy on Friday, Bob. You go out early, sleep early, so that you're able to work tomorrow, Bob. Easy language for you there.
Charges down. Up. The rest is on there.
Some good footwork there, some footballing skills for that man, Hash Panchal. The backup is offered by his captain, Riyazat Ali Shah.
Orkide, who on the other side looks to be in a hurry. Flicked away. 2 is the call. They're running very hard in between the wickets. Very good running. Credit to the batsman here, Innocent. This is the beautiful way of any team to chase a target whatsoever. It is 132 they're chasing, but they're they're making it look very easy at the moment.
You say easy, I say it's not easy. It's only looking easy because they've been working hard. First, the start given to them by Brian Asawa. Young leg spinner Brighton Muganzi under some sort of pressure there. He'll need to relieve it by going back to the processes. He gives out a no ball there. Free hit. Time. Orokide has worked hard. Sami Sohail is earning his stripes as an overseas player now. Free hit. Hit straight as a ruler for 4. The runs are truly coming for Trekkers of Sipi, who have been under pressure to get off the mark in the tournament. How does Rezat Alisha and his Kayakers of Itanda bounce back in this one? Bob, big question for you. As we look at this over from, it picks up a wicket. The youngster, guilty party there, as I was asking the question, if they have a chance to come back, the answer is given by Bratton Muganzi. They need to keep chipping away and picking up the wickets.
But again, too greedy. Look at that on the replay. As Orchidea creates room there. Misses a full ball there. Knocked him over. The leg stump goes for a walk. Again, Orchidea not turning these 20, 30 runs into a big score. Losing his wicket after getting enough runs in this over. He chips away his wicket here again. But again, you can't forget that handy 34 runs for his team, Sipi Trackers. As we see the introduction of the captain himself, who's yet to get some runs on the board for his team. Just comes in when the required is just under 6 runs and over. This has to be very easy for the captain with all the potential he has. Had a chat there with him at the toss. Asked him about his form. He said there's nothing wrong with the form. Just another bad day in the office. He believed in himself. He believes the big knock is just round the corner for him and his team. This is the right time for him to get that knock. Last ball coming from Brighton. Straight on the money. Safe hands there from the captain, Kenneth Waiswa. That's the end of the 12th over. 89 for 2. That's the end of the 12th over. 89 for 2 as I introduce one of the voices in Africa, best in the business, Dennis Musali. Welcome back.
Thank you, Bob. As watching from the sidelines and from the look of things, CP Trackers might be able to pick up their first win of the tournament. I think Orikide this time and Brana Saba getting them off a very good start. I think now it's about consolidation, especially for the middle order, Sami Sohail, and now the captain, Kenneth Waiswa. Do you think CP Trackers will get over the line here? 132, not a very big total.
Not a very big total, but we saw a collapse in the morning game. But again, Sohail out there with the captain. Very good, fine batsman. Leading edge there, straight to point. No run taken. As a CP Tracker fan out there watching, you don't want to lose this game after having this wonderful start.
Day 2 wicket, you can see Alpecia getting some turn out of this wicket. Sami Sohail continues to chip away. The captain, Kenneth Waiswa, due a captain's knock. Run out yesterday and then given out, caught behind in the first game. Wasn't happy with that decision that was given by the umpire in the morning game. Got a caution from the both umpires. Nearly missed out on this particular game because of a suspension. But ultimately the umpires agreeing to let that one slide, but probably for the final time. Any other altercation I think will lead to him missing a game. And the Itanda Kayakers, this double header is not very, very easy on the teams, especially if you go hard in the morning game. The Itanda Kayakers went toe to toe up to until the end with the Bujagari Rafters. You feel like I might have taken a lot out of them. Now they have to deal with the CP Trackers, who seem very, very determined to make sure they pick up their first win of the tournament.
Only one way to find out. I will see Alpesh cut powerfully. 2 is the call. But that looks like a boundary. Straight away off the mark is Kenneth Waiswa with that cut shot. Very good shot there. Good use of the feet from the captain.
Yeah, very good from Waiswa. Uses his crease well, backs away, and has enough room to get enough power in his shot to beat the man at point. The extra cover too wide to cut that off.
Same ball, but this time on he holds to the fielder there. Ronald Lutaya at deep backward point. That's the end of the 13th over. 94 for 2. 6 runs shy of the 100.
13th over. 94 for 2.
Yeah, that's a boundary there from Kenneth Waisa in that previous over. Backs away, hits the ball hard.
38 runs in 42 balls.
38 of 42 balls is the requirement for the Sipi Trekkers. Sami Sohel getting stuck in 17 of 20.
Coming to ball. Skipper of the side. Riazat Shah. Coming from the shell end.
Interestingly here how the captain Riazat Ali Shah is going to ball this over. He needs a wicket in this over to pull things back for his team. As we see the CP Trekkers are in to register their first win. Down the leg, wide signal, and he races away to the boundary. 5 runs, 1 run shy to the 3-digit mark. Not a good start off this over from the captain himself.
Yeah, very poor from the wicketkeeper Stephen Wabose. Looked tired. Instead of moving his feet, tried to reach for the ball. Completely misses everything and goes away for a boundary.
He just talked about the double-header game for the Itanda. You can see Wabose there not moving his feet. You can see he's already tired. Loud appeal there. The finger is up. And that's much needed wicket for Itanda Kayakers, and the captain himself brings himself back into the attack, and he gets the wicket of Sami Sohel, who is now happy. We saw them earlier having a little bit of chat in between there. It looks like Riazat Ali Shah is giving him a send-off.
Tempers flaring already. Sami Sohel there indicating to the umpire. Look at the replay again. I think he can't fault the umpire at all.
One of the greatest. He has played a lot of cricket. He has bowled so well. And he's the coach player.
That was plump in front.
Front to Sunuga.
Sami Sohel shouldn't have. I think if he watches the replay, he will have to apologize to the umpire. His indication though is that he got some baton to that, but we can't tell. Frank Nsubuga this time doesn't hold himself back, comes up the order to make sure he gets the job done. Coach player of the CP Trekkers, he joins its captain. The leadership group is out in the middle for the CP Trekkers.
Very good to see Frank Nsubuga for the first time in this tournament promoting himself. He knows if they are here to win this game, he has to hit a couple of big sixes out of this park here to be in the comfort zone. Loud appeal there. Height it is from the umpire there. Very good bowling there from Riazat Ali Shah. This is turning out to be an interesting over here.
Showing some signs of descent there. You see Wazimbat indicating to the umpire that let us have a review. But showing signs of descent from the captain, Riazat Ali Shah. not happy with the umpire's decision. Umpire indicating that the height didn't convince him enough. But Riazali Shah seemed to be convinced in his mind that he was going to get all 3 reds if we had DRS.
But again, Riazat Shah is bowling really good lines. Tapped over there, guided to third man, looking for a second one. Back up, it is the call. Riazat Ali Shah is not happy with the fielder, telling him, you have to use your brains. Throw to the keeper's end. That's where it is very safe, and there's a lot of backup there. And the fielder there decides to throw it straight to the bowler himself, who was already in his follow through. Not easy for the bowlers. Catch was the call there. Didn't connect that one. Kenneth Waiswa trying to overhit that one. Drops short to the fielder at mid wicket. 100 up for the Sipi Trekkers. Much needed. Still have 7 wickets in hand. Lovely piece of bowling. Good batting from the opposition captain, Kenneth Waiswa. It is the battle of captain versus the captain. Who is going to win the battle this afternoon here at Lugogo Cricket Oval? Setting his field, taking his time. Riazat Ali Shah. It is the last delivery. Drops the fielders at the ring. Short ball coming here, Dennis.
Let's wait and see. Swing and a miss there from Kenneth Waiswa. Big booming drive again. I don't know what Riazat Ali Shah had. Must have been the only one, because the wicketkeeper doesn't even go up. End of the 14th over, 100 for 3. The Sipi Trekkers. They need 32 runs from the last 6 overs.
32 off 6 overs, Dennis, with 7 wickets in hand. They are 60% in the driver's seat is Sipi Trekkers. As we see, the master, the king of reverse swing is being introduced from the ginger road end. Bilal Hassan has bowled 2 overs so far, just giving away 13 runs. Gain is still wicketless. Struggling to get wickets in this tournament so far is Bilal Hassan. He's been trusted to bowl the 3rd over. Game on, ladies and gentlemen. Never say it's over until they have scored the last runs. We saw it in the morning game. It wasn't easy until Juma Miyaji got them to the scoring runs and get them to over the line.
Right decision here for Riazat Ali Shah to go back to Bilal Hassan. There's no point in saving the best for last if the game is slowly but surely going away from you. So let's see if Bilal can be able to drag the game back into the favor of the Itanda Kayakers. They need to find something.
Sure, as he brings in the young bag into the ring. Tempting the batsman to go over the infield. Short ball there. Looking for a second one. They're running very fast. They can only get a single. Not sure there was batting. Waiting for the decision from the umpire. It looks like there was some bat from Frank Suga. Looked surprised by the short ball there from Bilal Hassan. These two out there. They know each other. They know their weaknesses. Kenneth Waiswa on strike. In the air, catches the call. Fielder under it and catch taken again. Another failure in batting from the captain of the Sipi Trackers, Kenneth Waiswa, chipping away another easy wicket. 30 runs off 6 overs, and he goes for a big hook there, and it's a surrily shot.
Yeah, Kenneth Waiswa this time has no one to blame apart from himself. Wazim Bat settles himself under the catch and takes a very good one. Bilal Hassan just doing the job for his captain, comes into the attack and picks a big wicket of the captain, Kenneth Waiswa. Jonathan Sebanja, a gun for hire from the Itanda Kayakers, comes into bat for the Sipi Trackers.
Can see straight away Razat Ali Shah is pumped with his team Itanda Kayakers, getting a hard there in between, telling his teammates it's not over until it's over. And you can see the trick has just worked for him, bringing back his best bowler Bilal Hassan and gets rid of the captain of the opposition side, Kenneth Waiswa, straight away. Are we yet to have another three-line? Lovely to see a lot of competition in these games here. 130 might look like a low score, but it is turning out to be difficult to chase for the Sipi Trackers, as they are just losing wickets after wickets in no time. Wait is the call. Frank Suga was very quick. He was already halfway, but Sebanja, his partner, had to send him back, telling him no need to risk. We all know Sebanja can also clear the ropes, but is it what Sipi Trackers need here, or they need to keep rotating the strike?
Whatever they need to do, they just need to make sure they get over the line. I think whichever way it comes, they will take it. Jonathan Sebanja, those two players, very, very experienced for the Sipi Trackers. This is where, for me, they would be able to win the game if they two can put on a decent partnership. Fishing outside the off stump there, Sebanja. Look, he's just looked at the ball passing by him. Could have taken a piece of his glove through to the keeper. Bilal Hassan, very, very tidy. 13 runs given away in 2.5 overs, and has also picked up a wicket.
Steaming in hard is Bilal Hassan. Into the pads, looking for a second one. A little bit of fumble from Falak. Wazim Bata, beg your pardon. They only get 1 run in the end. Very good bowling from Bilal Hassan. Much needed for Itanda Kayakers. That's giving away only 2 runs so far in this over. 1 delivery to come.
Yeah, Itanda Kayakers needed this sort of over. They needed this sort of over. A tidy one where they also get a wicket. They've been chipping away, picking up the wickets, but giving away a lot of runs as well. There's still a lot of time in this game. Long way to go. 30 runs still required for the win for Sipi Trackers. They've lost at least 4 wickets. 2 more wickets could make this interesting for the Itanda Kayakers. Hit hard by Jonathan Sebanja, but too straight to the man at long off, at long on, and they'll pick up a single.
Lovely over there from Bilal Hassan. And that brought us to the end of the 15th over. It is 103 for 4. The required run rate is still at 5 runs and over. But it doesn't look like it's easy for the batsmen out there in the middle to get that 5 runs and over. They need to target one bowler here moving forward if they are yet to register their first win. Can this be the over? As we see Alpesh Amjani coming in from the shell end. There's a talk there in between the experienced players, Wazim Bat, the captain Razat Ali Shah, and Ramjani Alpesh. If they can get to an over of 10 runs plus, that would really boost their morale.
Yeah, the spin of Alpesh Ramjani comes back into the attack. They need a big over, and I don't know if going to spin was a very good idea. Frank Nsubuga and Jonathan Sebanya can both clear the ropes.
Change of bat for Sebanja Jonathan. Not sure why he has changed his bat, because he's still on 1 of 3 deliveries. He hasn't faced that much deliveries to change his bat, but we never know. In the air and over into the tennis court. As I was talking about this might be the over. 6 runs off the first delivery. Coach player Frank Subuka doesn't have time to settle there out in the middle. Goes straight downtown for a big maximum.
I told you, Bob, devil's advocate, these two guys can clear the ropes. And I don't think spin was a very good idea because both of them are very good players of spin. So I thought maybe Riyazat Alisha should have gone back to himself to try and keep control of the runs straight over the bowler's head there. Beautiful cricket shot from Frank Nsubuga. He has that ability.
Soft hands there, intelligent cricket there from these two out there in the middle. 8 runs off 3 deliveries, much needed for the Sipi Trackers, getting one step closer to the win. Much needed for them to stay alive in this tournament. Soft hands again there, run out chance, but they're very quick and fast. He's there comfortably in the end. Sebanja took off like a bullet there. 9 runs, 4 deliveries. Much needed over for the Sipi Trackers. 2 balls to come. Can they get another boundary here? Beats everyone. Very good running from coach player Frank Subuga.
I think Frank Nsubuga today realizing that he doesn't have to leave the responsibility to everyone else. His instructions were going through one ear and out of the other. So this time he comes out very early at the top of the order to make sure he gets the job done himself.
Soft hands there, chase is on. They're running very hard in between the wickets. They get 2 runs in the end. Lovely over, 11 runs off this over. Much needed for the Sipi Trackers as the recurrent run rate has gone down to 4 and over. That's the end of the 16th over. It is 115 runs for the loss of 4 wickets. That 6 of the first ball is going to hurt the Itanda Kayakers. And Bilal to finish his quarter. Very good decision there from Riyazat Ali Shah, the captain, giving Bilal to finish his quarter. Sebanja Jonathan on strike, still on 3 of 5 deliveries. This is turning out to be a very handy partnership for the Sipi Trackers.
Bob, I told you this is a partnership that will win the game for the Sipi Trackers. Too much experience out there in the middle. Riazat Alisha also going to the experienced Bilal Hassan to try and get something out of the game.
17 runs off 18 deliveries. Short ball to start with. Give him a warning. Very good from the bowler here.
Target 132, almost there but not yet for the CP Trackers. This could be the opportunity for them to pick up their first win. A big contrast to the women's edition of the Waterfalls T20 League, where the teams that had double headers, at least one of those games
Good shot there. Yes, it is. He raises his finger there. That was a beautiful yorker into the block hole. Misses everything. Sebanja, very good decision to give him Bilal Hassan his last over of his quarter, and he delivers yet again.
Yeah, Jonathan Sebanja. Patrick Makumbi took his time, probably trying to think about whether it had been in the line, but was was an easy decision to make.
It was a very easy decision, even up here in the comms box, that looked very plump and dead. As we see Kevin Irakoze, Rwanda International, coming out there. He needs, and his team, 17 runs to get. Can he get them over the line? On the other side, the coach player Frank Subuga is still on 12 off 8 deliveries. Doesn't look to be happy, as on the other end they keep losing wickets. Very lovely figures there for Bilal Hassan, Uganda International. 2 for 15 in 3.2. Defending 132. Lovely figures here. Fantastic bowling from Bilal Hassan, leading from the front. Can he get another wicket or two in this over to make things more interesting here at Lugogo Cricket Oval? Kevin Irakoze on strike. Another attempted yorker there by Diggs. That one, Kevin Irakoze, to get off the mark. Bilal Hassan not happy, yelling at the youngster there, telling him you have to move in with the bowler, as all the coaches in the world keep telling all the players. He's not happy with that single. Solid there from Frank Subuga.
Yeah, the experience of Frank Subuga showing there. He knows the runs, not so many required. They still have enough balls, so they can always catch up. So he's being very, very intelligent. He knows Bilal is the key bowler for the Itanda Kayakers at the back end of the innings. Once you see him off, Riazat Alisha will have to gamble.
Chopped on. Frank Subuga doesn't look happy at the moment, and Bilal Hassan yet again delivers for the Itanda Kayakers, getting the big wicket of Frank Subuga, who chops on.
Yeah, Frank Subuga, they are trying to run the ball down to third man, and unfortunately plays onto his stumps. I think that was too close for him to be able to try and do that. Bilal Hassan now doing the business for the Itanda Kayakers, comes into the attack and picks 2 wickets. And those 2 wickets looked like a partnership that was going to win the game for the Sipi Trekkers. Now the job will have to be done by the young men Kevin Irakoze and Fahad Mutangana.
Mutangana father comes in to bat for the Sipi Trekkers.
Very good bowling figures there for Bilal Hassan. 4 for 16. He has one more ball. Can he get a 5er?
This is their third game, and they're looking at this win. Itanda Kayakers have 1 win, 1 loss.
Last ball coming here for Bilal Hassan's over and quarter. Very good bowling from this Uganda international Bilal Hassan, delivering for his captain and the team in general. What a delivery there. Very good bowling. Good spell there from Bilal Hassan. I reckon I can see the captain himself coming into the attack. We saw him earlier in the morning bowling some deadliest Yorkers. Riazat Ali Shah. Can he deliver for his team? Interestingly, from 2 wickets, it's now down to 6 wickets in no time.
You can listen to some nice jumps there, and you have yourself a drink, and watch some nice cricket.
A boundary for the Sipi Trekkers here can make things more interesting here. 3 overs to go. 14 runs in 18 deliveries. Can the big man there, Kevin Irakoze, deliver for his team? Much needed wicket here for Itanda Kayakers if they are here to win their game here this afternoon at Lugogo Cricket Oval. Swings hard, misses everything. Not a good start there from Kevin Irakoze. Swinging blindly.
Opportunity for Kevin and Fahad to get their team over the line. But as they keep dotting, the run rate also keeps going up. So they need to keep in mind that keeping their wickets is not enough. But they also need to come up with some runs.
Much needed single there, and they goes down to 13 runs of 16 deliveries. As I mentioned earlier, Dennis, here a boundary would be very handy for CP Trekkers.
I can see, Bob, you like simple things. A boundary would make it very easy. Some of us who want difficult life, who want to see some late show, drag the game up to until the end.
Down the leg side again. We saw him bowl one down the leg and then plumb. It was when he got rid of Sami Sohail. I'm not sure if it's his technique. Riazat Alisha. Let's wait and see. The young man on strike.
Yeah, Riazat trying to search for that wicket. He knows now bowling a hard length is just not good enough. But they know if they pick up 1 or 2 wickets, the pressure will be back on the Sipi Trackers.
What has just happened here at Lugogo Cricket Oval? The young man breaks the shackles, goes for a big 6 over the Cowcon region. Dennis.
Yeah, a shot out of nothing there from Fahad Mutagana. Very small man, but he picks up that ball from Riyazat Ali Shah and creams it for a 6. Hold your pose, son. Beautiful shot.
That's the boundary I was talking about. But now it is a maximum from the young Mutagana. Fearless cricket there to get off the mark. Wide ball, looking for a run there. No is the call. And he's there in time. Comedy of errors here happening here at Lugogo Cricket over a 6 and then a missed run out chance.
Uganda Kayakers have had 2 games today. All the way to the last overs.
We just need 2 runs and over here.
But you'll have to bear.
6 wickets down, 127.
15 balls.
Only 5 runs for the Sipi Trackers to get their first win. Much needed win if they are to get it. Keeps their hopes alive. Captain charging in again, drops it short, flicked away easily. Run out chance. He misses it. Good backing up there from Mozimbat, who might have injured his finger yet again. 4 runs to go for the Sipi Trackers. They need magic bowling here, Dennis.
The magic one right now is in the hands of the Sipi Trackers. They are getting close to their first victory. You saw that 6. There were celebrations in that dugout when Fahad Mutagana hit a 6 off the bowling of Riyazat Ali Shah. Celebrations more out of relief than joy. Very loud dugout there of the Sipi Trackers. They are party spoilers. They want to ruin the party or crash the party. They've been bottom of the table, but now they'll have something in their W column, probably at the end of this match. And the double headers have been terrible. I was speaking to the Karabo Ali, and we told him that Bujagali may not be safe tomorrow because no team has been able to win both of their games on the double header day. Tomorrow afternoon will be the final day for the group games. Bujagali with the double header. They will take on the Sipi Trackers in the morning, and in the afternoon they will take on the Itanda Kayakers. Our final will be on Sunday afternoon. If this result goes Sipi Trackers' way, we'll have to wait quite a while before we know who will be in that final. Chance for a catch. Ronald Lutaya doesn't go for it, but he hits bullseye, and Kevin Irakoze is caught out of his ground. He's run out. 7 wickets down now for the Sipi Trackers.
A youngster. Lutaya Roland hands out follow from the boundary. And
Very good there in the end for the Itanda Kayakers, but it's a little bit too late for them, as it's only 2 runs away for their first win. As we see, Joshi comes in to bat, but again unnecessarily running between the wickets from Kevin Irakoze, just needing under 3 runs. Look at that fielding there. That looked like half a chance of a catch, but he goes for the bullseye. Very good piece of fielding in the deep. That brought us to the end of the 18th over. Riyazat Ali Shah finishing with 29 with only 1 wicket. Mwebaze Innocent comes into ball from the Ginger Road side. Required run rate is just at 1 run and over. I believe even one of our favorites here in the comms box, Innocent Daura, can get that 1 run. Straight away off the mark with that flick. They're looking for the second one. Run out chance again. Bullseye not taken, and it's a win. Sipi Trackers win. They beat Itanda Kayakers by 3 wickets here at Lugogo Cricket Oval. What a nightmare for Itanda Kayakers on their double header, losing both games. What a game we just had here. Very good to see the CP Trackers here getting their first win. Lovely scenes here. You can see they are shaking their hands there. But trust me, ladies and gentlemen, Itanda Kayakers are not the happiest chaps here in the building. As I wrap up here in the comms box, we'll be back shortly with a post-match presentation by none other than Innocent Ndaura. We'll be back shortly in 10 minutes for the post-match presentation. More action will be here tomorrow. Can be enjoying the highlights as we wait for the post-match presentation.
Welcome to the post-match presentation of match day number 2, game number 4 of the Waterfalls T20 Elite League for the men's edition. The game was between the Itanda Kayakers playing on their double-header day and borrowing a wrong leaf from the Sipi Trackers who lost their double-header day yesterday. The two matches there, Sipi Trackers bouncing back and staying alive in the tournament. We'd like to give a big round of applause to Uganda Cricket Association for putting together this beautiful tournament alongside the partners Bat Ball, Rock Telecom, Live Rock Work, so many of them coming through, Nile Special Healthcare and the others, Pepsi, alongside many other sponsors that have put this together and made sure that we have some good and very, very cricket. Tough day for the Itanda Kayakers. Of course, going down by 3 wickets in this one. Congratulations to you, the Sipi Trackers. To start this up, losing captain, please come through. Tough luck, big day in the field, big effort. Many things didn't go your way.
Yeah, it was not a good day for us, especially in the batting unit. We didn't perform, we didn't come up as we supposed to. But as a bowling unit, we are good, but we need to make some runs in the board to go and defend. We are even same in the morning and the evening. We are less than 20 runs in. Yeah.
What would you like to change with your team when you play tomorrow? Because you still have a match tomorrow, one match. You're not yet out of contention for the final. Neither is Sipi Trackers, because the table reads 2 in 2-4 with Jagali Rafters and then 1 win apiece for you and the Trackers of Sipi.
Tomorrow is a big day for us. It's a do and die day for us. We'll sit down and talk to our batting unit and for tomorrow game, yeah.
Thank you very much, Rizu. Good luck tomorrow and enjoy your evening. It's a Friday afternoon, no dull moment in Uganda. Quickly up next to the winning captain of the Trackers of Sipi. To start things up, Kenneth, like yesterday, please, you have tickets to give out. You've been the lucky one to be giving out the tickets. One of our sponsors there, Century Cinemax, they have branches in Nalia, Acacia, and everyone else. Please call out a few people there and give them tickets for having come out here and watched the game.
Nanchinga.
Major Nanchinga, one of the team managers from the previous edition for the women, Itanda Kayakers, please come through quickly. We are live on TV, don't want to waste a lot of time.
Bizimungu.
Mr. Bizimungu, please come through. Bizimungu, wherever you are, quickly.
Vanessa.
Vanessa, please, where are you? We are live on TV. Come through quickly. And finally,
Alan.
Alan who?
Semakula.
Alan Semakula, one of our big boys from NBS, making sure that we get these streams live. The final was on NBS Sport. Alan Semakula, come through, enjoy your photo moment with the winning captain today. And show your tickets, please show your tickets. One. And well, because the winners have requested that they would like to go with someone, maybe a better half, we'll work the magic as the commentators to make sure we give you a second ticket after this off the camera. Kenneth, please stay in the picture, in the winning captain. Nice one for the sponsors there, Money's Worth. We only play this game because we love it and because we have people backing us up like Century Cinemax. Very well done. Very well done, guys. You can go away. I will stay with Kenneth Waiswa. Kenneth, you are back and alive in the tournament, but you almost threw it away. 99 for 3 in 13 overs. You needed another 33 runs from as many as 47 balls, and you almost threw it away.
That's cricket.
Take me through the processes. What was going on in the dugout? Were there any monsters?
Not really. I think we had a good start from Orichide and Asaba, so we knew we had wickets in hand, so we could go there and have a go at the bowlers as early as possible, which didn't work for us. But then Franco did well and Fad as well to finish the game for us.
Then you guys winning this one, coming back alive in the run, but your net run rate is very poor. What would you love to do tomorrow to get your net run rate up there, if only because a victory only may not take you across the line?
Obviously we need to win. So after winning, we will see about that.
Very well said, Kenneth Waiswa. Take your leave. To give out the Player of the Match award is a legend of the game in Uganda. He can kick a ball, but more importantly, he made his name as a cricketer. One of the sponsors out here, Benjamin Musoke, man nicknamed Benzo. Please come through. Many contestants for the Player of Match award. The 34 from Orochide. And well, good bowling figures there from everyone else there in that pack of the Sipi Trackers. But the Player of the Match is a person who picked 2 wickets, went for 15 runs, and did contribute to the bat. Mr. Sami Sohail, the overseas player from Malawi. Good souvenir there from you. Some wildlife, the beautiful wildlife from Uganda. You'll have that one in your living room somewhere. Come in the middle, guys. Yes. Thank you, Benzo. You can leave Sammy to enjoy one quick photo there. And then the former cricket cranes all-rounder, Mr. Suleiman Sharif, come through also. More awards coming through for you, Sammy. A trophy. And well. You can leave the check high up there. Of course, Suleiman Sharif, a bowling all-rounder for the cricket cranes in his heyday. He still plays in the local league. We don't know if he's retired from the national team. But well done with the money. Money for you. You can hold this, come in the middle, hold this quickly. Enjoy your photo moment. Smile, you're live on TV. Sammy, well done. Sami Sohail, of course, has the highest strike rate for anyone in the world with more than 600 runs in T20 cricket. Only Virat Kohli ranks second. He was the player of the tournament in Kigali at the Division 2 tournament. Sami, big